with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on
Adam Cole, baby.
Baby. How did it go yesterday? What was your match at 12? 11?
11:30.
11:30?
They won 1-0.
Oh, okay. Easy.
Light work.
Light work. Who scored?
Erling Haaland.
Oh. What minute?
71st.
Ooh,
What is this, a test?
Yeah, but you had to wait a little while for your victory.
I did.
Yeah.
Which was hard because I was at the gym at the time. And so, like, I'm trying to keep quiet. But I'm
there's no chance. I've heard you watch games from other rooms in here.
I was just like,
does anybody ever come up to like, hey, can I change that channel? And you're like, no.
I had it on my phone.
Oh, okay. So they're just hearing you make these noises randomly. Like, boy, this guy's getting in a good workout over there. Wow. Any close calls late or early like that? Because actually, I think that's when I'm trying to think. No, you get more excited for a goal, but you missed opportunities. I've heard you make some.
Yeah, I thought these rooms were way more
soundproof here.
Soundproof
here or at the gym?
Here.
Yeah, no, here, no chance.
It was one time Angie said to me like, "Oh yeah, I could hear you during the game." I'm like, "But you can't hear what I'm saying." She's like, "Yeah, you said how did you miss that goal?" I'm like, "Oh."
I guess you did hear me. Yeah. That's the thing you're most passionate about.
Yes.
Which is funny because that's still relative in your fandom. This is what are you about 15 years now?
Yeah, 2007
of City.
Yeah.
Okay. And that just came about like
met some English people in Vegas
and had a good time and you're like, "Hey, let's
took me under their wing."
Nice. That's rare to get a team later in life. Do you think you could get another team now this late and be as excited? I mean, I guess you did, but in some, not in soccer, obviously, I don't think, but
yeah, I guess it'd be like some newer sport, some sport that I'm not into.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I guess so.
Does Sacramento have like some rugby team or something that?
But not NFL, NBA, or baseball.
No.
Yeah.
Baseball I'm pretty much done with.
But I wonder if, maybe we'll have to pick a team this year to get Dave into baseball again when baseball starts. Well, he likes the Giants. It's just he likes the Giants when they're good. Like a lot of people, which I get. It's more fun when your team is good. Speaking of that, I used to have dreams about sports all the time when I was a kid, like playing and being, because that's all I was doing when I was growing up. Do you have those dreams anymore? Or like,
yeah,
you do?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a, a lot of people still have those dreams, I guess, like they're at school and they're not prepared for a final or something like that. Do you have like a recurring sports?
It's either baseball, sometimes soccer, occasionally wrestling.
Oh, did you do any of these?
Baseball.
Yeah.
I guess soccer as a kid.
Okay, yeah.
But it's one of those things of like, no, like this is a big game match type of thing. And it's like, you got to get in there. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
So you're in it or
I'm in it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I don't think money of mine, maybe they start where I'm observing, but generally it gets to where you're involved. You're playing.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know what I'm doing, guys.
Yeah. I literally had one last night, which I don't remember my dreams that often. Do you remember your dreams very often?
Occasionally.
Yeah, it's weird. I think usually I've found for me when I remember dreams is if I wake up, like if I get woken up or something. And if I sleep through the night and get up, I don't know, maybe you've had 20. I have no idea, but I don't even remember anything. But it's something that maybe wakes you up and then,
that was weird.
Yeah. Have you ever had a dream where you wake up, you go back to sleep and you kind of get back into the same kind of dream?
No, but I've had the one where you're dreaming, wake up in the dream, and then still think that thinking you're awake, but you're not.
Wait, explain that one.
So like you're dreaming,
Yeah.
and then in the dream you wake up. Like, oh,
but
that
you're
was
still
weird.
dreaming.
Yeah,
I got you.
and then other weird stuff happens. Like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then you wake up and like, ugh.
Yeah. So last night I did have one last night that I do remember, and it was funny because it was very age appropriate. Like sometimes I'll wake up, like kind of to your point, where maybe I'm back in high school or playing, or it's like the Super Bowl and I'm playing. I'm like, I shouldn't be playing. But this time it was almost like it was age appropriate, where I feel like it was weird because, dreams kind of morph and change while you're in them. I felt like I was at a football training camp, but then all of a sudden it switched. Like there was 2 fields and now I was on the other one and I was at the baseball training camp and clearly trying to play. And I could have sworn the manager was Tom Selleck. And he came over and he was like, hey, look, we've seen a lot of your video and we don't really think you should be here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I should be either. But it was like, you're one of the older guys. And then I think I started to rationalize with him. I'm like, yeah, but you should even know. Like, I think I'll be here and I'll probably surprise you. You know, the way this will work, it'll probably be like a movie where I'll come through in the clutch. Like, I should not be here. But if you just give me a chance, I will probably get the game-winning hit, is kind of what I said, even though I'm sure it'll go through like a movie where I, blunder the ball, can't hit, make all sorts of errors. Like, yeah, but just keep him. There's something about this guy. And then that's in my – so I was dreaming in a movie frame with Tom Selleck as like this manager. There's someone else with him that was telling me, yeah, like he get him – I don't know why he's here. And, yeah, dreams are funny. I think the one I do have, if it's still a sports one periodically, it's a lot of times for whatever reason it is baseball. And it's like I hit the ball about as far as you ever could, but I just can't run to first base. Or it's like first base keeps
just like real life.
Yeah, it's just getting farther away. It's like I feel like I'm really digging. I'm like, man, they're gonna throw me out at first. And that's the one. It's like it's a good dream and a nightmare all in one. I don't know about nightmare, but so you have any of those still kind of things, or
Yeah.
I don't know why that one recurs, but that's the one seeming that's like, so there's got to be, and I know there's like dream experts or analysis, like something about not being able to get there or not being able to make it to first base must associate with something.
The weird thing is still like when you have to do a test in school and you're like, oh man, I didn't prepare for this at all.
Yeah.
And like
The
thinking back,
anxiety.
it's just like, wait, what are you even thinking about?
Right. Or I've woken up from like it doesn't have to be a nightmare, but a dream, maybe something like that, or it's like, oh my gosh, this huge test. I'm totally not prepared. You wake up and for the first, I don't know, 30 seconds, you're kind of still in that mode, like, oh man, I'm gonna really have to wait, I'm not in school. But like, where you're that far out of it, you're like, I'm still a little bit stressed because of whatever you're dreaming
the
about.
stress dream I get a lot is like I wake up 4 hours late to getting in, but I'm still in a rush to get to the station.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like, we've been waiting. And it's just like, yeah, it's one of those like, but you didn't start without me.
Yeah. I know, Dave, when I first came to morning, so there's been 2 different cycles through for me on the morning show. And I remember Dave said at the beginning, it's like, hey, just to let you know, don't worry. It's happened to literally everyone. You're going to oversleep. It just happens. And I said, yeah, you're probably right. And knock on wood, it hasn't happened to me yet, but I have had that. And, the other part we always talk about the morning shift, just the weird thing. Like last night it happened to me where I woke up and my phone said the dark. I reach and I go, oh, it's like 12:29.
Isn't it the weird game that you play with
all
where
the time?
You look at your phone, it's just like, please don't be 3 a.m. and it's
Yes.
like 12:30. You're like, oh,
right. And then the other time it's like, oh, I think I got a long way to go. And you go, I got 2 minutes before the alarm goes off, and you're just mad and you pop up. I don't know, but the rest of you are up. So I'm curious for those of you that are already on our chat, which there's a lot of you here already. We appreciate that. What do you guys do? What's your story? Why are you up so early? Nice work. J. Ross hasn't been to first base. Nope, hasn't made it. Never made it to first base. J. Ross, your dream is about a money opportunity? Huh.
Good at business.
Maybe it was my encounter with Kelly Brothers. J. Ross tries and tries and tries, just can never get to first base. Maybe there is a metaphor there. I just don't know. Today on the show, we got plenty to discuss. I say plenty to discuss. I actually reached out to Chris last night. I go, Chris, I'm having a hardest time finding some content, but you helped me with some stuff. We got stuff. We'll get it through for sure today. Kings did practice yesterday. Practice. Yes, they're back. They're together and ready for the push. We got some audio from their first workout together. We got to wait one more day. Kings in action tomorrow. But coming up on the show today, about an hour from now, a little less, UC Davis head basketball coach Jim Less. He will join us. Also, at 9 today, we'll check in with the TV analyst, Katie Christensen. So it's a Katie Wednesday. See how she enjoyed her All-Star break as we all get ready for that second push. But we're going to kind of go over lots of different things. We're going to hit football. We're going to hit baseball. We're certainly going to hit basketball. One of the things we're going to get into today as well is we're going to try to make a case for Domantas Sabonis as an MVP. And some of those lists you look at right now where they list the MVPs, Sabonis is on them. Now, he's further down the list, but there's also a player that's on that list that says he's the best player in basketball right now, and I disagree with that. But we will discuss who that is and why they think that. That's all coming up. But we're just getting started here. When we come back, we've got leading off on this Wednesday edition of the Carmichael Dave Show with Chase Ross. Carmichael Dave is off today. Who knows, though? He might check in. We just never know. We're back after this.
That was absolutely insane.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento
Here's
Kings.
a steal by Fox. The breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
What's up? As always, we're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
It's the biggest savings we've had in years on new heavy-duty Ram trucks. Right now, you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 2500 Laramie Crew Cab 4x4s. And yes, I said 2024s. Plus, we have Northern California's largest selection of Ram trucks with over 500 available. So you're sure to find your new Ram truck waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
$17,000 off MSRP on the brand new 2024s is a big deal. How'd you pull that off?
Hoblet is California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation, which means we have the best selection of the trucks you need at the best prices. No one has a better selection of heavy-duty Ram trucks west of the Mississippi. Plus, when you shop at Hoblet, you're not just a customer, you're family.
Hoblet Dodge, the small town dealer with big city savings and selection. Start your search at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,000 total net savings after 11,379 factory rebates and 5621 dealer discounts. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction rebate. Must have purchased eligible case equipment to qualify, and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be current member of eligible first responder association. Private net savings sample VIN 221743.
Let's do it. Leading off, the 3 top stories in the morning.
Huge news. This is very important.
Here's cut number 1.
All right, we're going to get to cut number 1 here in a moment. Want to follow up on a couple things I was asking our YouTubers and those of you on the text line as well. Why are you up so early? What do you guys do? Let's see. We've got Dwayne saying work starts at 6, so here I am. Zebra says, let's see where. I'm old. It just happens. Matthew, I'm a semi-truck driver. I get up at 2 a.m. for work. All right. Man, good for you. Honorable work right there. I asked what's your route. Let me know where you're working today. All right, so let's get to cut number 1 here on Leading Off.
Jay, this vote happened because the Pac-12 conference, which is down to Washington State and Oregon State, was finally ready to roll with it. Everyone was in agreement, had been waiting on this for months. The Pac-12 needed to get its legal issues resolved. It has since named a new commissioner, replacing George Kliavkoff, and they were ready to vote for it. Washington State President Kirk Schultz, who represents the league on the board, told me he realizes that the 5+7 model better benefits those two teams because they can't win a conference title this year. So they need the more opportunities, 7 at-larges, in order to find a spot.
All right, I'm hoping and hopeful. I'm like the expansion of the college football playoff. I think this is good for the game. Those of you that don't know, I call football games and have for 25 seasons for Sacramento State. They're at the FCS. And at their level, they have a tournament. They have a pool. It's 24 teams. I think it's awesome. I think it's ideal. It makes sense. It's a little bit like a March Madness bracket. It's easy to follow, and it's great. I've never understood why the FBS has never had that. Now we're going to have a 12-team pool. I think that there's some charm to it, certainly. There's going to be controversy, which is always the case. I don't think there's anything wrong with that debate on Team 13, Team 14, or seeding, and so on and so forth. But here we go. It looks like the College Football Committee and the group and the presidents of each conferences have, after the Pac-2 was kind of the last of the holdouts, have agreed to a new college football playoff format. And the model will have a 5+7, as you heard described there. And so what you're going to look at is from the highest teams from the top 5 conferences, highest ranked teams will get in, and then 7 basically at-large berths. And so, it's in its early stage. We're going to see how this goes. And college football, I think, is already in a pretty healthy place, but it's also in an interesting place with the NILs and the transfer portal and conference realignment. I mean, this is moving very, very fast. And yesterday's college football is not today's college football already. And some for the good, maybe some for the bad. I think that's the way all things work with. I think always, I should say, generally things are done with good intentions, but you don't always get there with good results. Bad things can happen, or mistakes and miscues along the way. And you're like, well, we need to redirect, change things, and point this in a different direction. But we will see how this goes. College football really continues to grow and grow and grow. I think there's just such a great vibe to it. I think the sooner that I don't even know the right way to put it, the stigma around college football, as far as those that still believe this in a way where it's, hey, it's student athletes. By definition, yes, but the game's changed, right? That it's a business. It's a business. And so I feel all along that college football should be treated differently than other college sports. I don't think college athletes, I think what they're doing needs to be recognized as not superhuman, but pretty heroic to be, for those that are truly college athletes that are going to school, carrying full workloads, maybe even life events as long as competing at a high level for that long. It's impressive. But college football is just a different entity. And, Sac State, even to that level, we're on charter planes. It's, it's not the greatest plane you've ever been on, but it's nice. You get to go to and from locations. We're back home the same night of the game. It's a business. It's a business. Whereas, track and field or rowing or wrestling or baseball, whatever sport you pick at these schools, it's just different. They don't have it the same way. And so I feel like college football should be treated differently. And in some extents, some capacities it is, but not entirely. So we're going to go over this a little bit more, the good and bad of this, certainly, and where college football is going throughout the show here. But let's get to cut number 2.
Cut number 2.
Nobody's going to react to Doc's audio?
Do you want me to get it for you?
You don't repeat it. I don't have to repeat it.
I can repeat it.
I've seen the trend now. I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it. Mm-hmm. But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy. There's never accountability.
Wow. For some reason, yesterday there seemed to be a lot of things revolving around Doc Rivers. That was J.J. Redick talking about his former coach. Doc Rivers over the All-Star break talked about, didn't think it was quite the right time to take over the Bucks. Thought it would be later. He basically had said the owners said, no, you're it. We're making this decision, and has not gotten off to the greatest of starts. Talks about how difficult it is. And I'm sure there's some truth to that. And then, boom, all of a sudden, here comes J.J. Redick. Then people are now jumping on to defend Doc, like his current player, Patrick Beverly, who was a teammate with J.J. Redick. Austin Rivers jumped in there. There's just all of a sudden become a lot of Doc Rivers slander or praise, I guess, in some cases, defending him. In the end, Doc Rivers has been a good coach. I think he was a good broadcaster. But he's going to be the one that has to deal with this. He's got a very good basketball team, like he did in Philadelphia. like he did with the Clippers, that people felt came up short. And it's not always the coach. It's not always the players. It's generally, in my opinion, it's all of them. You're a team. You did it together. You came up short together. So, Doc Rivers, you are the coach of that. There is some accountability you need to take, as well as the players. Just like if the Kings this year have success, and as much as they do, it's coaching staff, it's players, it's everybody. And when they come up short, it's coaching staff, it's players, it's everybody. Interesting, though, that this kind of came around and for whatever reason picked up some steam yesterday. We've got a little bit more on that Doc Rivers slander as we continue, but let's get to our final cut number 3.
Cut number 3.
I think it's the halfway point. It's not the halfway point, but it's basically you're getting down to heading down the stretch. And so to be able to kind of step back and reevaluate as a staff first, and then talk with your team and give your team a chance to get away from hearing your voice every day, I think it rejuvenates most people.
How about Fox in particular, given some of the stuff he was dealing with and just the demands on him at both ends of the floor? Like, how good can this be for him to have a little break before the last 28?
I think Fox, but everybody, Domas has logged a lot of minutes for us. Keegan for a young guy. So I think it's good to be able to sit back and kind of take a breath and relax your body a little bit in your mind and get back out there and leave it out all on the floor for the stretch run.
All right, that is Mike Brown, first of several pieces of audio we'll have from yesterday's practice workout. Yeah, this is what the intent of the All-Star break is for the majority of the league. Yeah, there are individuals that went to All-Star weekend, some playing, some just to be a part of it, have friends, or it's a cool scene. If you've ever been to All-Star weekend in any way, shape, or form, it's been a long time for me, but when I went back when Peja and Weber and Brad Miller and Vlade and the Monarchs were around and doing different things, I had an opportunity to go to a couple All-Star games. It's fun. It really is a good weekend. Just the whole thing, just from practices to people watching to the events. It's more fun to be there, honestly, than some of the stuff we went over yesterday where everybody has been ripping All-Star festivities. But it's a fun one to attend. And so if you don't do that, hopefully you did truly get away from the game. You got a break. That's what, the purpose of this is. And, if you hear anybody that's training for an endurance event or something maybe they've never done and they're training for a marathon, your training is just as important as the rest days. The rest days are important too. You need time for your body to recover. And in this case, maybe it's your body, your mind, the grind of it. They've heard the trade deadline was kind of another benchmark. The stress of that for some of these guys. Are they going to be dealt? Is Harrison Barnes going to be moved? Kevin Huerter, Davion Mitchell, guys that were commonly mentioned in the trade rumors. Well, boom, they crossed that hurdle. They now know they're Kings, at least for the rest of the year. So that's a little bit of a peace of mind. Now it's, hey, you're also in a playoff race. You're trying to increase your standings, but let's get off our feet if you can. If not, you could still get some workouts in, some light stuff, but you're not in the regular demands for a few days since playing last Wednesday in Denver. They were off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, basically, and then back at it Tuesday. And so practice again or a get together today, I'm sure. And tomorrow it's on, kind of back into the routine. They play Thursday this week and then Sunday, Monday, back to back, Clippers and Heat. So they've got to get ready for that grind, for that push. I mentioned it yesterday. The Kings had tied for the most wins in the Western Conference post All-Star break last year. If they do something like that again, they are going to move up the standings. The West is crowded. There's some spots they can gain, and I know that's ultimately what they want to do. And so it all starts tomorrow with the Kings and the Spurs. We certainly will preview that. We've got more audio from practice, all that and more. And we're going to, like I said earlier, hit a lot of different elements of things. Was thinking about, the 49ers season coming to an end and how different it could have been if they still had Jimmy Garoppolo. How about the rise and fall of Jimmy G and where he is now? What is his future as he continues to, he got that punishment, serving a 2-game suspension for PEDs. That'll start the beginning of next season. But he's one of those guys that doesn't seem to have a football future. There's several of them out there. But we'll talk about the rise and fall of Jimmy G as we return here on Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs today in the lower to mid 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
The 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in car and driver award history. Come drive it. We are Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year, we don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Abrysvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had an allergic reaction to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may decrease your response. Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com.
So don't wait. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, because every breath matters.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hear that? The relaxing sound of ambient music in a yoga class. And if you were here, you'd listen to 15 people taking a deep breath in sync. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get a quote today and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And find inner peace with a different pose called Palms on Handlebars. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
On Sactown Sports.
Jeff Wilson Jr. is in. He scored his first touchdown in the NFL earlier. Goes into a true eye behind Juszczyk. They're going to play action. Juszczyk goes to the flat. The ball goes to the end zone for Deebo Samuel in the second level. Touchdown! San Francisco!
I got to tell you, it sounds better every time you say it.
Mostert now is the lone back. Second down, 4 49ers in the Bengal 39. A straight drop. Here's a blitz by B.W. Webb. They get it out to Mostert. First on 49ers 30. Breaks a tackle. He's gone! Touchdown! San Francisco! Play action. They boot Garoppolo. Dunlap is there. A throwback left. Wide open. Marquise Goodwin's got it. Touchdown! San Francisco!
All right, we've got a bank of highlights, and I was pulling up Jimmy G highlights, and all of them labeled Jimmy G, and until the third one, Greg Papa mentioned Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, that Jimmy Garoppolo. A lot of talk going on right now in the offseason of the NFL, which, like a lot of seasons now, all blend together. Where some of these quarterbacks going to go, some of the free agents, some of the future for these players. And currently the Las Vegas Raiders, Jimmy Garoppolo is technically their quarterback, but he gets a 2-game ban for a violation. And Jimmy G's career is really an interesting one because there's talk about Jimmy G and some interest maybe with the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of thought revolving that I had around Jimmy Garoppolo and where he is now and where he's going, kind of the rise and fall of Jimmy G. If you think about, I don't know if he was at his peak in the late years with New England, because when you're a backup to Tom Brady, you're really not going to get an opportunity, but he did get a little bit of opportunity and played a few games, started a few and won both of his games famously there in New England. And then the Niners made the splashy move to go get him. And if you remember that, his first 5 games as a 49er starter, they won every game. So now he's started his career 7-0. The next season with the 49ers, got hurt but played a few games and was 1-2. So he's now started his career, 8-2. The following season was 2019. The highlights we played from there where the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl. And they were 13-3 with Jimmy Garoppolo. So right there through his first, 14, 16, 21-5 in his first 26 games. And what you heard from everybody with the San Francisco 49ers was about leadership. I mean, we talked to Greg Papa, Eric Armstead, several people along that time, and they all raved about just what he meant to this team. And what got me thinking about this is kind of where he is now. He then goes to the Raiders and in a spot where let's even remember where he was kind of the label of Jimmy G was as good of a winner as you get. I mean, that's what he is a winner. You're not going to look at his stats. I mean, if I'm looking up his numbers, I see no 4,000-yard passing seasons, no touchdowns at 30 ever in any of his years. And not that you have to hit those numbers, but when you start looking at the better quarterbacks in this league, you're looking at guys that get to 4,000, 5,000 yards, 30, 35, 40 touchdowns. Oh, then maybe if not, then they run the ball really well. That's not, a superpower of Jimmy Garoppolo. He can run, but he's not a running quarterback by any means. So what's his secret? Well, he was on a good team that he helped complement, made them better at times, and was a great leader and ran the system well enough. So he moves on ultimately after a weird kind of departing, right? It was like they're clearly taking Trey Lance, and this is a sign that Jimmy G's done. Well, the 49ers, kind of out of circumstance because they couldn't trade him with the injury, keep him for an extra year, or even 2, really, if you think about it. And it was going to be Trey Lance's team, but then they let's Jimmy G kind of welcome him in. Then the next year was clearly going to be Trey Lance's team. He got hurt. Jimmy's back in the mix. He gets hurt. Then it becomes Brock Purdy's team, and Brock has not looked back. So then he, goes to the Raiders this year, 3-3 in 6 games as a starter, gets hurt. It doesn't get the job back at the end. And where is he now? Well, he has the 2-game ban. You're hearing reports coming out of Raiders camp that some of the things that were similar to the Niners, maybe a little aloof or indifferent at times, just the intensity, maybe detail-oriented, which is very much the case of Kyle Shanahan, was missing from some of his practice reps, his detail reps, those kind of things. But all of that to be said, kind of the rise and fall of Jimmy G makes you wonder, will he be a starter in this league again? And he's going to be, I think, 32, 33. So he's not too old. He's not past his prime. But it begs the question, what is his prime? What is he without a great roster around him? So if you kind of ask that question, and then you put that right back on top of Brock Purdy, which for those that are negative Brock Purdy fans, I'm not. I think Brock Purdy's a really good quarterback. But it does, you allow yourself to go down that road and think, if you strip this clean, the 49ers, and they have an injury-filled year like Jimmy G had to go through one year, if they have kind of a time where Brock Purdy ends up getting paid and some of the talent deficit isn't, or the talent decreases, will Brock Purdy still be able to take them to places that he did this time and last year with a supreme roster? So, when you're trying to build teams, I think the Niners are still in this really good position where they have a quarterback that is good, that can lead this team to the Super Bowl at a incredibly affordable price. You can still do the things to get that elite defensive line, have good skill players, have the ability to trade for a guy like Christian McCaffrey, and let her rip with the good coaching staff, good, at least, offensive play caller in Kyle Shanahan, and good scheme that, for those of you that are critical of him, I get it. That's fine. You can be. That's fair. But those in the know, those that follow the game, more people try to duplicate and copy what the 49ers run because of the respect they have for that system. It's not always easy to run, but Kyle Shanahan's offense is very good. It's run very well, and Brock Purdy understands it. So it just made me think a little bit about that with Jimmy Garoppolo's rise and fall here. Are there any parallels at all with Brock Purdy? And I can see them being made. I just don't know if they're justified. I think Brock Purdy, to the best of my knowledge and what we've seen, what he's been given, has handled those situations. And to me, it's also looked different than Jimmy G. There were times I felt like Jimmy G could lead that offense. Clearly, he showed that. But I wondered whether he could make the plays, the difference-making plays. And I think Brock Purdy's been involved in more of those. I think that's been what's different. Brock Purdy, if you go back to the NFC playoff run, literally in the Lions game, made some heroic plays with his legs late. That was humongous. He also led them back from a significant double-digit comeback. Did the same with the Green Bay Packers. Now, there's other guys around, and if you're one of those that don't want to give him all the credit, that's fine. But he's a part of it. He is definitely a part of it. And that was one of my things I remember when we would talk on this very show about Jimmy G. I liked him. I think he fit the role. But could he make your team better? If they were down, I didn't feel great that Jimmy G would lead them back. Now, I've always said this about the Niners. If they were playing in their DNA and had the game in the lead and were running the ball well, and he's making the right throws to the right people and not turning the ball over, they're going to be just fine. But I don't know that Jimmy G would have been able to lead some of those comebacks. And so now you just think about where he was as kind of it's nice to be the backup quarterback, maybe not behind Tom Brady in the sense of you're getting paid and you're probably never going to play. If you're the backup quarterback behind someone that's not quite getting it done, there's a charm like, hey, put that guy in. Well, Jimmy G got a few reps, and then he got the job with the 49ers, was kind of the guy that helped start to turn it back around for the 49ers after they were in a little bit of a drought. And then here they go with a couple successful years from him. Knowing they needed to upgrade and had a window to do it is why they went for Trey Lance. And then now, ultimately, they kind of out of good fortune, good scouting too, you could say it however you want, decided to take Brock Purdy as the last pick. And it's turned out that Brock Purdy's processing, IQ, understanding of the offense, ability to make the throws has turned this team into a better football team. But I think the rise and fall of Jimmy G has clearly been an interesting thing to follow. All right, and another interesting thing to follow is where we are in this world and kind of this society with gambling in sports. At one time, it was completely frowned upon. It's becoming less and less. You're seeing it advertised during games, announcers talking about it. But you, as the consumer out there, we continue to set record numbers on sports betting, and it's only going to go up. We'll discuss what's going on there and where it can ultimately go when we come back on Sactown Sports.
The only place you'll find Harrison Barnes is Sactown Sports.
He's got
the bucket, at the buzzer, Harrison Barnes.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Harrison Barnes, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
Whether you prefer thrills or serenity, the 2024 Accord from Elk Grove Honda delivers both. With Honda Sensing Standard, the 2024 Accord is once again a winner of the 2024 Car and Driver's 10 Best Cars, making Honda the winningest brand in Car and Driver Award history. Drive a 2024 Accord Hybrid and see for yourself what the fuss is all about. We're Elk Grove Honda in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Capital Casino has been serving the greater Sacramento area in the same convenient downtown location for over 20 years, with plenty of close-by, well-lit parking monitored by security staff and offering the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Best food, best service, and the best action. That's Capital Casino. For more information on tournaments and gaming, check out their website at capital-casino.com. And please remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
It ignites something inside of you. Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder, lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
This segment is brought to you by Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
With the best in local sports.
Make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
On Sactown Sports.
Money. Follow the money. We always say that on this show. Tomorrow we'll be talking money. Sports.
Oh, man, I'm out of cash.
Are you? Did you lose it betting?
Man, I'm out of cash.
You know what it sounds like, though, when you're talking
cash grab.
Yeah, there we are. Tomorrow we'll be talking sports business.
Good at business.
I'm just like leading Chris right along the way. Tomorrow with Kelly Brothers. One of the things we may end up bringing up, depends where Kelly wants to go with it, but sports betting, the industry posts records again in 2023. And it begs the question, did we miss out here? Certainly, I know. Was it, Chris, what year was it that we had a chance to vote for gambling, legalizing sports?
2022.
So it's 22. Okay. And it didn't really even come close to passing, did it?
No, I was surprised.
I was too. And I know there was a lot of money spent against it.
Also, I think people were confused because there's two different types
of
gambling.
And, you know, I'm not trying to make this by any way political, but I guess sometimes this gets political. Different states, and I think that's why we have even more growth. Chris, last year as the American sports betting industry continued to expand, it reached a high water mark, posting a record $10.92 billion in revenue in 2023. The huge year for the industry represented a 44.5 year-over-year increase from 2022. Part of that was a few more states did allow sports gambling. So now you're increasing the number. More and more people are doing it. And, it's kind of one of those things. If you legalize it, it can open up some negative doors, possibly. But when you don't, it's happening anyway.
Yeah.
And so to me, if you're California and you're a huge state, there's an opportunity to make a ton of money as a state. Now, we can all argue, are we using it for the right reasons? I mean, look, we've got the lottery. That's always been intended to send back to schools. I don't know. I'd like to do some research on all that. Are we doing all of that right? I don't know. Probably not. There's probably arguments for that. But it feels like this is happening. Why wouldn't we just want to be involved in it anyway?
Yeah, and especially when such a huge amount of percentage of people are already doing it. Like prohibition has shown that it doesn't work, especially when there's such a huge percentage of people doing something.
Right.
That it's better for, I think, the state to regulate it,
right,
than to just full out say like, no, this is illegal.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to have your cautions. And look, I totally understand the paths that can go wrong. I mean, that's like anything. Alcohol is legal. We know the dangers of that. I hope we do. In this state, marijuana is legal. In other states, it is. And it's not everywhere. You understand. I hope people understand the potential harm in some of that stuff. But there's also, like anything, I think all of this stuff generally is done for what can be good.
And one of the weird things too is like when you talk about cannabis use, that has been like proven to slow down the use of prescription pain medication, which is a huge problem.
And I wouldn't have thought of that as a byproduct, but it's kind of been a nice byproduct of it.
Yeah. And because I mean, once again, that's like something that's like really hurting people.
Correct.
And when you see in the states that once again, it's a complete prohibition.
Yeah.
That's usually where you're having
the
trouble.
Issue. Yeah. So the thing about sports betting that I found interesting that's completely changed, to be, as candid as possible, as someone that works in the NBA, like I cannot gamble on the NBA. I can't. Like that's one of the things. But now we do, probably a lot of you at your work have to do those video things, whether it's sexual harassment and different videos and trainings. And we have to do that every year. And I get it. I understand it. But now it's more open, like allowed to participate in fantasy football drafts and fantasy football and other sports betting, just not the NBA, which I understand the reasoning behind that. Kind of the thought of, hey, if you get some intel that Fox, Sabonis, and Keegan secretly, before anyone else that they're going to be out and the line hasn't changed. Well, of course, I'd have some knowledge on that.
Or even we just found out Fox talked about how he's been having some shoulder issues.
Correct.
What if you knew that a few weeks ago?
Right. And it could impact, from daily fantasy to real gambling, so forth, so on and so forth. But what's interesting is all the leagues now are way more aware of it, but I also know they're trying to get a piece of the pie of the money part of it. So whether it's FanDuel or Prize Pick, just all these different things are now out there. And more announcers are just openly talking about, like, that used to be kind of, wow. I remember Al Michaels was the one that probably suggested it more, like, hey, that number is going to help somebody, and was very secretive about it. Now you hear everybody talk about it, and I think it's much more commonplace. It's on the scroll everywhere. People know what the point spreads are, and it's not really frowned upon anymore.
We see that for the Kings, like their pregame, they give you the spread and they give you their picks.
Right.
In California, where sports betting is illegal.
Right. Yeah. So, it just makes you wonder where, and I've talked about this for years, and I don't know that it'll ever get there. I always thought there would be a time, Chris, where it almost turn into like the track, where if you could make tickets almost more affordable to get in so that everybody could go. But really, it's like a casino. The casinos are free. They just want you in there.
Yeah.
So I don't think the games will be free because that is you got a finite number of seats. It is a demand, but if you can make the tickets more affordable and then basically have it where you're betting on anything and they have the availability to do so. Now, what's different is this was kind of more before our phones truly advanced. This was maybe 15, 20 years ago. I was thinking this, like, you're going to have it where you're going to be able to go to a game on the cheap, but go up to a window, almost like the concessions, and say, all right, I want the under in the first quarter, double-digit rebounds on Sabonis, and the Kings to win. Here's my parlay. Well, now...
Which is how it is in the UK.
Is it?
Yeah.
At soccer?
Uh-huh.
So are the tickets any cheaper, though, or no?
No, tickets
The
aren't
demand
cheaper.
is still there.
Yeah, but like you go, like the first time I went there, we were just around the concourse. It was about like an hour and a half before the game. And these guys are going crazy about this tennis match. And it's just like, oh, they're there betting on the game. That's why they're going crazy
the
for it.
interest is because they bet on it.
Yeah.
So that's been in place, though, for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now
And then they even have like, it's like, it's kind of like off-track betting. Like you just go into like just a building and it's a gambling.
Okay.
It's a sports bet place where you go and make your sports bets.
So where I was wondering, I guess, about that is why I thought that idea now is more dated is like, now do they just do it on your phone?
They still have them there.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it's just because they already have the infrastructure for it.
If it's there, if people working. I mean, some people would probably like that. I don't know if it's a trust thing too. It's like, for anybody that's gone to a casino, it's like, I would prefer to play blackjack with a dealer that I see the cards. There's a video one. I don't like that.
Well,
I don't know why I don't trust that as much. It's like, I can see you dealing the cards. I don't anticipate any.
And also at the game, you go, you place your bet, you give them their money, and then you win, you go and you collect your money.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go through your bank account. You don't have to
True.
be like the 2 to 3 business days for you to get your money back.
I guess you're right. That's no different than if, at the casino now, that sports book, I mean, you go up, there's a sports book. There's a window there, or not a window, but like a desk that you go up to and say, oh, futures bets. I'm going to put all this on the Giants to win the World Series. Okay. And you could take that bet and you have to wait your months. And have you ever done one of those, like a long-term bet?
I did it. I bet on the Cubs to win the World Series in 2015.
Was that because of
Back to the Future?
Okay. And was that a year off?
Year off.
Oh.
I should have went with Parks and Recs, who predicted the Cubs were going to win the World Series in 2016.
They did?
Yes.
What year did they do that?
What year did they predict it? I think it's like
been that far off.
2010, 2011.
Because I was saying Back to the Future was what, 86, 87, 88?
Oh,
something like
Back to the Future 2, I think, was 89.
Okay. Oh, is it the second one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Wish I could go back and put some money on the Cubbies.
The only one I ever thought about that, now that you're saying this makes me think of it, it was 2010. I think the first time the Giants won the World Series, remember I was at the NBA Summer League and was sitting at a place to eat, but also they had all the best odds to win the World Series. And I was looking up there, and the Giants had the best record of the teams with I'm not wording this right. Their payout was the best for a team with the best record, if that makes sense. Like they were like about 10th on the list. And I think they were in the wild card range, which is what they did. They went through the wild card. I'm like, wow, they're not that far out of first. And they're pretty low on the list. That actually would be a fun one just to throw a few bucks down. And I thought about it at that lunch, looked at it, and never did it. And it's like, that would have been a good one. I don't know. I probably would have bet $10, but which wouldn't have been much. But anyway, the whole point of this is gambling is growing, continues to grow. A lot of you out there probably do it in some way, shape, or form. We just talked about this yesterday. There's March Madness coming up. I believe a lot of you will get into a pool without knowing anything about it. Most of you probably play fantasy football. You know some stuff. Maybe some of you know a lot of stuff. Does that matter? If you feel like you're an expert in your sport, do you win your fantasy league every year? Probably not.
How often do you get the A grade on your draft and then not even make the playoffs?
That happens more times than not. I actually call that the kiss of death. You had the best draft, A+. I'm like, I lost. They don't. This isn't going to work. And I've done this a lot, and you've probably run into this too, Chris. So like, you work at a sports station, or if you're in some sort of pool where you're trying to get, it's no fair. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be in another baseball league this year. I'll finish 8th out of 12th. I'll try. But people gamble. People will continue to gamble, and there's money to be made. And it was a big, big year in sports gambling. All right, college basketball has March Madness coming up. What's going on with UC Davis? Can they make the tournament? They're trying to make a run here. We're going to visit with UC Davis basketball coach Jim Less to start the 7 o'clock hour here on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies. Highs today in the lower to mid 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Doug Christie here. It's Folsom Lake Kia's President's Day sales event. Save on new 2024 Kias with low payments, low finance rates, and zero down deals on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia in the Folsom Auto Mall.
37,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need to make the right business decisions instantly. 37,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite is the #1 cloud financial system, streamlining accounting, financial management, inventory, HR, and more. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close their books in days, not weeks, and drive down expenses. 1. Because your business is one of a kind, so you get a customized solution for all of your KPIs in one efficient system with one source of truth. Manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need to grow, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance absolutely free at netsuite.com/company. That's netsuite.com/company to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/company.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599 That's 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
What's up? Talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's President's Day sale?
Huge savings on our remaining 2023 Rams as we make room for the hundreds of 2024s arriving daily. This month, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s. And you won't find a better selection of new Ram trucks in Northern California with over 500 Rams available.
Well, that sounds like a good deal, but why drive all the way to Hoblet, Chad?
For 4 generations, we prided ourselves on being the small town dealer with big city selection and savings. When you buy from Hoblet, you're family, which is why so many of our customers come back and buy from us time after time.
Come to Hoblet and see what it's like to be treated like family at California's #1 Ram truck dealer. See their full selection at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 74.88 factory rebates and 75.12 dealer discount. Rebates may include 1,000 case construction bonus cash. Must have purchased eligible with new case equipment qualify and 500 first responder bonus cash. Must be carrying member of eligible first responder association. 5 with net savings. Symbol VIN 700008.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone. And then boom,
with Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
All right, second hour underway. Jason Ross here with you. Carmichael Dave off this week. On vacation. He'll be back with us next week. Show rolls on here, and let's get right to it. Our first guest today from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline, the coach of your UC Davis Aggies, Jim Les, former Sacramento King as well. Coach, Jason Ross here. How are you today?
Jason, I'm doing great. Dave doesn't get load management. I mean, I didn't think he was that soft.
Coach,
what the heck? He's got to grind through and push through. He's just leaving you out to dry.
Yeah, we're calling him soft, Coach. We can do it.
All right, that's our stance, and we're sticking to it.
That's right. Well, I wish we were talking to you under better circumstances, Coach. A couple of tough ones last week. Opportunities. I'm sure those eat at you more when they're games that you could have got. I know the Long Beach game. There was maybe about a 2-minute drought there at the end when there was an opportunity maybe to get that one, and couple of tough losses, so you've had time to look back at the Long Beach and the Riverside game. What eats at you the most right now?
Yeah, anytime you have one possession games, which both games were, and you have opportunities to win those games and home games, it's really important. And just I thought our execution, on both ends of the floor left a little to be desired. And really up to that point in close games, we had been really good on both ends of the floor, defensively coming up with key stops and being really disciplined and kind of ramping up our schemes late. And then we had some breakdowns on that end of the floor, which makes it hard. And then just a little bit rushed offensively, trying to hit home runs when singles are going to win you games. So good learning for us, and we've kind of regrouped and reset the clock, and we still control somewhat of our own destiny, but we've got to be better in those areas, especially in close games, and our league is so tight and the parity is so good that you're going to be in a lot of close games, so being able to execute down the stretch is key.
Yeah, how would you say the Big West is this year compared to maybe other years? I mean, if you look at the standings, you're right. There's a log jam, but just the quality of play, how does this rate maybe amongst other years?
Yeah, I think in general it's a very well coached league, and then the talent across the board is really good, and it's not surprising that there've been a lot of teams, but maybe in the lower half of the league that had beat teams in the upper half, and a lot of close games and a lot of upsets. And so the coming down the stretch in the tournament, it's going to be wild. And that's why, I'm sure there's probably, 6, 7 teams that go into Henderson, Nevada for our conference tournament are thinking, this could be us, and we could win 3 games in 3 days or 2 games depending on the seeding. So, and we feel like we're right in that mix, but we know it's not going to be easy.
As we're talking with Jim Less, head basketball coach at UC Davis. Coach, you talked about late game execution. I've always wondered how much of that can be practice and implement. I know you can put time and score and have scenarios, with a team in blue and a team in white or whatever, and going through that, and you'll never be able to duplicate an exact scenario as far as who you're playing. But how often do you get runs at that in a practice where you're like, hey, all right, this team has the ball, 30 seconds left, we're down 6, let's go. How often do you get situations like that?
Yeah, we try and do that as much as possible. Especially earlier in the year and middle of the year when you don't necessarily have as much game, as many games under your belt. So guys understand terminology. They understand what our philosophy is when we want to foul, some of the sets that we want to run late in games and the execution. Sometimes we'll have different packages with maybe a bigger lineup, maybe a smaller lineup, and then responsibilities. So, like you said, it's really hard to emulate the end of the game and the pressure and all the things that are going on in a true game sequence. But I do think it's important to have guys just familiar with what you want to do and how you want to execute it. And a lot of times we'll film. We're filming every practice, so then we can go over those too and show it to guys so they can feel comfortable at the end of games with what we want to get done.
Your next game is tomorrow on the road at Northridge. You beat them earlier, had a really good game, scored a bunch of points on them. I'm sure that's got to give you confidence, but you also don't want to be too overconfident, knowing what you said earlier. Anybody in your league can beat anybody. So what do you have to do with Northridge tomorrow?
Yeah, they're a really good offensive team. I think 9th in the country in fast break points. So, and especially at home, teams always run better at home. So our transition defense is going to be paramount, and they're a team that runs a version of the dribble drive offense. So they're constantly in attack. They shoot a lot of free throws. So there's going to be a premium on defense, and then, as usual on the road, it's value the ball, take great shots, and be solid offensively, and make sure we don't have any pick sixes, no live ball turnovers to get that break going.
Do you like the setup the way it generally is for the Big West? And what I mean by that, Coach, is you guys could have a phenomenal year, maybe even be the 1 top seed going into your conference tournament and be a bubble team, let's say, in the tournament, the big tournament, but you'd probably still have to win the Big West. That's kind of an all or nothing philosophy. What's your thoughts on getting to the conference tournament? Certainly needing to win it to go to the big dance, which is your goal. But that's a lot of the case of the Big West where you're not getting a bunch of at-large teams.
Well, I think the tournament needs to be, if you look at all other sports, football being an example, football under the guise of, we want more opportunities for student athletes. There's more bowl games. They've expanded, the national title game and the playoff structure. And every sport has done that, but men's basketball. And I think that's a huge mistake. And I think every conference regular season champion should be in the tournament, and then the tournament champion should be in. And obviously you would have duplicates there, so it's not going to increase the number. You may get to 90 teams. It's going to be one more weekend of games or one more 2-game sequence. And what you're going to have is you're going to have more of the mid-majors, and those teams in the tournament have generated all the excitement because we don't get a chance to play, some of the big boys, or we do, but we have to do it on their court always. Yeah. And that's the allure of the tournament. And I think we're probably getting close to that, to some sort of expansion, but I think that puts a premium on the regular season. So like you're saying, when you win it and get the number 1 seed, there's a reward at the end of that. In fact, they've even taken away the regular season champ going to the NIT automatically, which to me is ridiculous. And again, that's big money, BCS controlling that they want more of their teams in the NIT than they want mid majors. So I think there's been a lack of leadership and vision from the NCAA on a lot of issues, and certainly the tournament, which is the golden goose, is one of them. This is, it's billions of dollars of revenue generated, and the fear of expanding it, thinking it was going to hurt the tournament, I think is ridiculous, because every time they've expanded it, it's continued to have great success. So they need to do it. They need to have more opportunities for student athletes, and what it'll do is it'll get more of those mid majors in. The regular season will become even more important, and I think the fans are going to love it.
You've been on NCAA tournament runs before. What's the best part of that, about that journey?
Wow. To me, in the big picture, it's a forever memory. So, what I love is our guys that have played in the tournament on our teams can, anytime the tournament comes on in March Madness, hey, I've been there. I've taken part in one of the world's greatest sporting events. So one, I think that big picture and the history and the memory of that is great. And then just, it's amazing the amount of attention, and, guys are walking out to their charter flight, and we're heading off to, like, when we went with UC Davis, we went to Dayton and played our game. And then that night we're back on another charter. We're heading to Tulsa. We're playing Kansas. We show up for practice in Tulsa, and there's 8,000 fans in the stands watching practice. So I think all of those are just unbelievable memories, and the amount of people that I know it was social media now, as you know, you can quantify. And I remember it was some ridiculous number of, 52 countries were on social media, talking about UC Davis playing in the NCAA tournament. So the magnitude of it is just mind-boggling, and to have that experience and that lifelong memory is special.
Yeah, there's just something about seeing your school, or the school you coach or went to, or whatever it might be, or however you're associated to it, on that bracket. I mean, or announced on Selection Sunday. I mean, that is absolutely spectacular. I'm thinking back to that visual you said, Coach, about going to practice there and having 8,000 fans. Now, that's something you're familiar with. What were the players wide-eyed? What was that like for them?
Yeah, they were just in awe, and just the expressions on their face, just every piece of that, the step of the way, just the joy and kind of the culmination of a lot of hard work and time that goes into this, and to cap it off with that kind of experience. And to me as a coach, that's the huge motivator, is to be able to put our guys in a position where they can experience those kinds of lifelong memories, and in some instances life-altering memories. A lot of our guys on our tournament team, when we were the first ever to do it at UC Davis, are still playing professionally. They launched off of that success because of the notoriety. So those are all really special, and that's, as a coach, it drives you less about you, more about providing that opportunity and experience for them.
Last thing for you, Coach. I want to ask you about one NBA thing. We just came. I don't know if you had any time, because you had games in your own team to worry about. But this weekend was the NBA All-Star Game, and didn't get a lot of a great fanfare from those in the media. Thought it was just a tough watch. I've always enjoyed it and just taken it for the exhibition that it is. You've been a part of the 3-point weekend and that kind of stuff. What's your overall feel on the All-Star Game, and if it does need an All-Star weekend, if it does need improving?
Well, I've been boycotting that game for a while now. I just, the competitor at heart says, anytime you lace them up, you're there to compete. And I'm just, as an old school guy, I'm not a believer in, the schedule is too rigorous that you can't compete under that stage. I think it devalues the product. It devalues the talent of the players. And I think it, quite frankly, sends a bad message to, the kids. You have this opportunity and there's spotlights shining on this game and these players and they're great in their own right. And you have an opportunity to advance the game. And we're not doing that. So it does need to be revamped. I don't agree with throwing more money at it in terms of an incentive, because I'm not sure with the money that's being paid now that you can throw any amount of money that's going to change the attitude. It's got to come from within, from the superstars, and someone's got to, make a stand. And a guy like Kobe or MJ that can influence others to change the makeup of that game needs to be done.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that for sure. Coach, we always appreciate your time. Best of luck tomorrow at Northridge, this weekend as well at Bakersfield, and we look forward to talking to you again next week after a couple W's.
Jason, thank you. Tell Dave he's soft. I don't like his, load management strategy, and I'll give him some grief next week.
Please do. We look forward to it. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. That's Jim Less, UC Davis Aggies basketball coach, joining us there on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. When we come back, it's Firewings time. 3 for Madness. 3 questions, 3 answers, brought to you by our friends at Firewings right here on Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown, San Francisco.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
The venue's set. Families coming in from all over. It's our quinceañera. With all the excitement, it may be easy to overlook COVID-19. It's still a risk, and that's why it's muy importante to get this season's COVID-19 shot ahead of time. It helps protect against COVID-19, which can cause severe illness and hospitalization. So let's set the date, vaccinate, and celebrate. Learn about a vaccine option and book this season's updated COVID-19 shot today at schedulecovidvax.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase. With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
3 questions, 3 answers. It's 3 for Madness on the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Here's question 1.
All right, it is time for 3 for Madness. Each day at this time, 3 questions, 3 answers, brought to you by our friends at Firewings. 21 delicious flavors of wings. Firewings, just wing it. Christopher Laud, question number 1.
The Kings have 28 games remaining. Realistically, what is the best case scenario for the final push of the season?
Yeah, we had our guy earlier, Campeo, talking about 20. I'm like, ooh, 20. That'd be a great number. If they go 20-8, that'd be what do they have? 51 wins. I mean, that's a pretty good best case. You said best case scenario?
Best case scenario.
That's pretty close to best case scenario. I mean, 28. No, that's not happening. They're not winning all 28. Best case scenario. Best case scenario, I'll put it this way. I don't know if I have a win total. It definitely has to be in the high teens. Let me give them 18 with staying 100% healthy. And really, I want to say if I'm going best case scenario, also being able to kind of cruise into the finish. And what I mean by that is maybe the last couple of games being not stressful, where they can dictate, hey, you know what, we are going to take some guys. We can't move a seed. Like, they're locked into whatever position, and they're good with that position. That to me would be the best case scenario. So I don't know what number of wins that would mean, because, you know, if you're not winning 20 or more, you're probably needing help to be in that kind of position. So best case scenario, they are healthy, they win in the high teens, they can dictate their terms at the end of the season, and they certainly get in the top 6, but I would say get to all the way to number 4. That would be the best case scenario for the Sacramento Kings. Question 2.
Question 2.
What would be the worst case scenario for the Kings?
Well, worst case scenario, I don't even want to put injury out there, but I would say they missed the top.
Let's just assume with this, everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, they missed the top 10. And you say, well, that's not going to happen. Oh, can. They're 8th. And when you look at the standings, 9th and 10th right now are at least are the teams that I thought that have potential to catch them, which I'm glad they're already there. And that's the Lakers and the Warriors. That next group, I mean, there's a pretty good safety net for the Sacramento Kings. Right now, the Utah Jazz are 11th, and they are 6 games back. Now, told you yesterday when I did the compare and contrast of the standings a year ago, the Lakers were in the 11th spot last year and jumped up to 7. The Warriors were about the 10th spot at the All-Star break, or 9th, and jumped all the way to 6th. Dallas was in 6th and fell to 11th. So it is possible. So the worst case scenario, assuming everybody stays healthy, would be completely missing. But the next closest would probably be falling to 9 or 10, maybe 10. Because then it's a road play-in game and you lose that. And so technically it's not a playoff berth. It's just a one-year team that made it. And if that's the case, then the questions and the things, Chris, that everybody brought up, and they didn't make a move. They could have gotten better. Potentially could have got worse with a move. But then that all comes and resurfaces. Like now there's questions about Mike Brown. There's questions about Monty McNair. Questions about this roster, which would probably all be validated because they didn't make it. And I'm not really in the mood for all of that stuff. So I would say worst case scenario, dropping to 10 or 11 and getting out before getting even in the postseason. Question 3.
Question 3.
After hearing JJ Redick's comments, was he right about Doc Rivers?
This is a terrible answer, but I don't know. There are people defending Doc Rivers. The problem with the people that are defending Doc Rivers right now, one is a player on his team. The other is his son. I don't know that I've seen a ton of people jumping on the bandwagon of JJ Redick, but I'm not the biggest fan of people speaking out like way after the fact. And, you know, JJ Redick's on TV. He's got a platform and he's good. I think JJ Redick is good. But I don't even know. We have the clip again. I want to play it because I don't even think it's that I don't know if the term divisive is or blasphemous on Doc Rivers, but he's basically saying, we'll let you hear the clip again because I got it right here. Here's what JJ Redick said yesterday about Doc Rivers, who was kind of bickering about how difficult it is to join a team, basically right before the All-Star break.
Nobody's going to react to Doc's audio?
Do you want me to get it repeated for you?
He's doing repeat it. I don't have to repeat it.
I can repeat
I've
it.
seen the trend now. I've seen the trend for years.
What's the trend?
The trend is always making excuses. Doc, we get it. Taking over a team in the middle of the season is hard. It's hard. We get it. Just like getting traded in the middle of the season is hard for a player. We get it. But it's always an excuse. It's always throwing your team under the bus. They lose to Memphis. Oh, it's his players. Memphis was playing G League guys and two-way guys. And then you look at his quotes over the weekend. Now he wants to take credit for the James Harden trade to the Clippers working out. He wants credit for that. There's never accountability with that guy. There's never accountability.
All right. So basically, I think the thing is there's never accountability would be the line. Well, where's your accountability, JJ? You were on that team. You were at the 3-1 lead as well, right? I think it's all universal. I put them all together. Doc Rivers has won a championship. He's probably missed out on a few more opportunities. He's gotten a lot of opportunities, though, to coach teams. So either he's impressed owners, talked to the right people, have enough people that do like him. But I will say this as an observer, not even as a Kings fan, but as someone that was worked in the league, he complains a lot on the games. So I feel like if that's kind of the, everything's against us. It's always, the refs are against us. You're not calling things for our players. The excuse thing, I could see maybe where JJ Redick's going there, but that was just a weird little back and forth.
The big problem I had with Doc Rivers was how he treated Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Of his
that was bad.
Is he a point guard for the team? Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And he was still on his team, right? They hadn't been gone yet, I don't think.
No.
I didn't
think that's why Ben Simmons didn't come back.
Yeah, I don't think he and Joel Embiid really stood in his way.
I mean, that's something that you have a talk like that in private.
Yes, for sure. So, but I get back to, I feel like more and more of that word would spread amongst owners and players, but Doc Rivers continues to get his opportunity. Like I said, still has a chance to add to he's got some of the most wins in the league as a coach. We'll get another opportunity here with the Milwaukee Bucks with a very, very talented roster as the season second portion of the schedule gets started tomorrow. All right, we started the show talking about college football's agreement on a new playoff model, the 5+7 model. While we continue to see an ever-changing landscape in college football, this transformation in college football, will this sport be better? We'll discuss straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SactownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs today in the lower to mid 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Are you ready for the deal of a lifetime? This week only during the President's Week sale, get ready to rev up your savings at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. The doors swing wide open every day at 9 a.m., and we're unleashing the biggest selection of pre-owned and brand new vehicles you've ever seen. With so many options to choose from, you're sure to find the car of your dreams. But hold on to your seats, because here's the best part. Our prices are slashed to the bone, and they're so incredible that we can't broadcast them. You have to come down and see for yourself. Don't wait. This is a 1-week only event. And to make it even better, you can drive away with your dream car right on the spot. No waiting, no hassle. Just instant delivery right on site. Remember, the President's Week sale happens this week only at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. Doors open at 9 a.m. sharp. Elk Grove Kia, where the biggest savings and the hottest wheels await during the President's Week sale, only at
Elk Grove Kia.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
The only place in the morning to get your sports fix.
Live and local.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Maybe on one of these Friday Fun and Games coming up, I'll try to ask Dave and Styles and Watkins and you, Chris, just who's in each football conference now. Man, it's getting crazy. College football landscape continues to change. And a lot of the weight was on the Pac-2. Washington State, Oregon State, trying to figure out what's best for them. Well, apparently yesterday, a lot of the higher-ups in college football, the playoff board of managers, approved a model that will guarantee the 5 highest-ranked conference champions inclusion in the expanded 12-team field this fall with the next 7 highest-ranked teams. So it's a 5+7 model. Let's hear it explained.
Jay, this vote happened because the Pac-12 conference, which is down to Washington State and Oregon State, was finally ready to roll with it. Everyone was in agreement, had been waiting on this for months. The Pac-12 needed to get its legal issues resolved. It has since named a new commissioner, replacing George Kliavkoff, and they were ready to vote for it. Washington State President Kirk Schultz, who represents the league on the board, told me he realizes that the 5+7 model better benefits those 2 teams because they can't win a conference title this year. So they need the more opportunities, 7 at-larges, in order to find a spot.
All right, so that's what we're looking at going forward. I did this comparison as almost a mock of what college football is, and I like to do this every year in the NFL season where you say, look, right now in week 8, week 10, week 16 of the NFL season, pick 4 teams. Pick 4. It's an not arbitrary. We're based on record, belief, who we think is good. That's basically how college football was doing it. Now there was some, numbers and stats and eyeball tests behind it, where you'd see an undefeated team. I told you when the playoff committee selected their 4, I personally thought the best team in college football last year was Georgia. They were left out. That's the way the process worked. They lost their final game. It was their first loss in 2+ years. And they'd been number 1, the unanimous number 1. And just because they lost at the end, the last game to Alabama, they're out. Yep, you're out. So now it'll be a little bit clearer, allegedly. But a team like Georgia from last year, who I thought was the best team, didn't get a chance to prove that because they weren't in the Final Four. And Michigan, the way it was set up, was in fair and square. And they got a chance to win a national championship, and they did. So good for them. That's how it worked. Now you're going to get from each conference, the conference champions, at least amongst rankings. Now, you could be a conference champion with a subpar, I wouldn't say subpar, but not highly ranked record and not get in. That's not the way it works. But the top 5 highest ranked conference champions plus 7 other teams will get in. And this field of 12, I think, brings up incredible potential drama in college football. I think it's going to be a spectacle for us as fans to watch. I think this is getting closer and closer now to the NFL playoff format, which to me, if we talk about the strength of the NFL, it's that the regular season has everybody's attention as much as the postseason. And that's kind of what we were just talking to Jim Less about. To me, what college basketball has lost is the value of its regular season. And for some, maybe the NBA is the same way, or Major League Baseball. Whether it's, I don't even know that it's too many games situation. It's just that each game doesn't seem to have the same kind of impact that it does in the NFL or college football. I just said it. Georgia lost 1 game in the regular season. They had won 30-something games in a row. And the 1 game in the regular, well, it was the conference championship, cost them a trip to the Final Four. So you have that kind of stress on a game-to-game level each week. Whereas if you're playing 82 in the NBA, some games are more important. Some games are more exciting. The in-season tournament, they try to do that. College basketball has so many games, and games that, all right, a loss in December, what's that going to mean? Well, maybe you lower your ranking, but I still feel like Kentucky's going to be in the NCAA tournament, or North Carolina's going to be there. Who's one of the better teams now? You're looking at UConn, the defending champs, who lost to Creighton. I mean, but these things happen in the regular season that if that was in March and in the tournament, they're out. So college football now is getting closer to that NFL playoff format. that 7 other teams is probably going to be more of an opportunity for, when Ohio State and Michigan are undefeated and playing each other at the end, that other team that loses still has a good chance to be in the field of 12. Where this is helpful is teams like San Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State, Cincinnati, Tulane, someone, who was it a few years ago? South Florida or Central Florida, whatever it was, has an undefeated season, believes they should be there. People are like, you're not one of the power teams. We're not putting you in there. Well, this is opening up a door for teams like that. And again, it gets back to more potential revenue. Some of the other hurdles about this is chalking to each conference and trying to take away or strip away the conference affiliation to some of these other bowl games. I think bowl games, for the large part now, have lost their luster. I think that's been going on for years. The other bowls. Now, those are still important for schools, and those are fun opportunities. But you guys, if you're college football fans, or even just turned your channel around a few times from mid-December to early January, would look at some of these bowl games and go, there's nobody there. And when you've got higher pieces of the puzzle competing later, what is the draw of a Meineke Bowl or whatever it is, the Cheez-It Bowl, the Pop-Tarts Bowl? I think there's less charm and character to that, because now everything's being funneled to this college football playoff format, which I think that is going to be great. It's going to be must watch. It will still be controversial. There'll be teams 13 and 14, 15 that believe they should get in. There'll be questions about seeding and all that. But I think this is a massive, massive money-making opportunity for the sport. And in the end, I think that's the bigger part of a discussion for college football and college sports is, are we in a better position now with what we're doing? I think there was so much money to be made, and a lot of these athletes getting exploited to some extent. But if you're going to a student bookstore to buy gear from a player because you like that player, why should the player not get a benefit of that? Because they're not a professional? That was the thought process before. Now with the NIL, maybe that can open up some things. And kind of tying this in to what we were talking about yesterday, I saw this story with Caitlin Clark. She quickly breaks the record of, let me see, after setting all-time scoring record, Caitlin Clark became Fanatics' top-selling college athlete in the NIL era, shattering the previous mark, which was set earlier this year when Colorado got off to the 3-0 start. Shedeur Sanders gear and everything representing him was being sold at the highest rate. Well, Caitlin Clark now, so women's college basketball and Caitlin Clark shattering all those records. And so when she's going to be going pro and going to the WNBA, and there's a ceiling on the amount of money she can make as a college athlete, and really putting Iowa college basketball and women's college basketball on the map, why should she not be able to benefit from that? And so you can see the positives of that. There's negatives of that, like we say in every conversation. I think a lot of this is done with good intentions, and with good intentions creates opportunities to, weasel in some of the bad things. But when we've got everybody's intention on trying to go to school, play for a winner, get exposure, make a name for themselves, name, image, and likeness, and then maybe having the freedom to just change schools on a whim in the transfer portal, is all of this better for college sports? And I don't know that we're still in the infancy of all this. You can see where some of the problems are, but should we be as concerned about all this, or is this truly becoming a major concern? And so I think with college football's new playoff model, we're going to see what to me, I can see the benefits right away. It jumps off. You can see where there's going to make a ton of money. You can see where there'll be interest. You can see where now, just like we're going to have brackets come out for March Madness here, I'm sure that'll become a thing with the field of 12 and people probably doing office pools and brackets and gambling. Back to our story we were talking about earlier, record-setting numbers on gambling. Now you're talking about universities and schools that people have gone to or attended and have opinions on and watch. I think there's so many things, networks fighting over these games. That's going to be the good part of it. And for us as fans of these games to watch, to be able to talk about controversies in the games, well-played games, terribly games, mismatch games, walk-off games, all that stuff. But where will some of the dark secrets of trouble come about amongst all this, which is inevitable, right? That stuff's going to happen. I want to kind of get into more of that, kind of this, where college sports is going and how the transition of the portal and NIL are changing the game. Jay Billis even has an idea on that. We're going to let you hear that and kind of a comment on that. We've got some King Sound coming up too from their first practice back together as we continue here on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Hear that? The relaxing sound of ambient music in a yoga class. And if you were here, you'd listen to 15 people taking a deep breath in sync. But you're not here. Because your self-care happens out on the road, riding your motorcycle protected by Progressive. So if you ride, get a quote today and see if you could save with Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. And find inner peace with a different pose called Palms on Handlebars. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Welcome to a brand new year filled with limitless possibilities at Kia of Vacaville. Prepare yourself for an extraordinary driving adventure as we present our impressive 2024 vehicle lineup. Step into the future with state-of-the-art technology, groundbreaking features, and the sleek design that has become synonymous with Kia. Immerse yourself in the dynamic performance of the all-new Kia Sportage, where captivating design meets exhilarating power. Experience the fuel efficiency of the Kia Niro, a hybrid marvel that extends your journey with every mile. Indulge in the sophistication of the Kia Telluride, seamlessly blending luxury and versatility. Don't overlook our eco-friendly Kia hybrid options, ideal for those who prioritize efficiency without sacrificing style. If you're in search of the EV9, Kia of Vacaville has it in stock or available for delivery. Visit Kia of Vacaville today and cruise into 2024 with confidence and style. Kia of Vacaville, where innovation meets the road. Elevate your drive, elevate your year. Model availability and features may vary. Please see the dealership for details.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jake Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Carmichael Dave.
He has very good sources, and he just kind of tells it as it is and gets to the point.
Jason Ross.
He has a lot of pretty smart things to say.
He's good at what he does.
On Sactown Sports.
Rolling along here on Sactown Sports. Wednesdays with Katie coming up at 9 o'clock. Katie Christensen, TV analyst, will join us. Jason Ross here. Carmichael Dave off this week on vacation. He'll be back next week. Kings back in action tomorrow night. Really looking forward to that. And Victor Wembanyama, first appearance at Golden One Center. So looking forward to seeing if the Kings could start off on the right foot. Still to come some sound and reaction from practice yesterday. The Kings' first workout together. That's coming up here in our next segment. Also, we're going to make a case for Domantas Sabonis. Not as an all-star. That's already come and gone. Never happened for him. But could he be the league MVP? Well, that might take a stretch. But we'll see if we can make that case for him before the show is over. All right, so we were talking about the new college football playoff format that college football has agreed to, that 5+7 playoff model. We're going to have 12 teams. But college sports in general, we're kind of at this transition stage here where we've got athletes being able to change schools, the NIL, getting money for name, image, and likeness and opportunities. And I think there's some creativity there. Again, I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. Here's one that I think, like, where you go too far with certain things. Like, there's rules, and not that you need to break rules, but sometimes you just go, okay, that is too far. I've said it. I'll say it again. It was maybe even, gosh, it might almost be 20 years ago now. Let's say it's 15 years ago. At the airport with Sac State football, I'm in the line at the restaurant. You know, we didn't fly charter at the time. We're on a commercial airline, and I'm in there getting a breakfast sandwich or something at McDonald's, let's say. And one of the players for Sac State was behind me, and I go, oh, and I'll get his too. And he said, oh, I can't. I'm like, no, I'll get it. That's fine. He goes, no, you can't get that for me. And that to me is a problem. Like, I was just offered to buy him. I mean, there's nothing. It was a nice gesture. Good for him to recognize. I wouldn't have ratted him out. That wasn't my plan. I was like, hey, I'm buying it. You're here. He's behind me. That's cool. I'll buy him a $5 sandwich, whatever it was. Couldn't do it. Now, the $5 sandwich in some people's mind, Chris, could turn into, hey, you also got him a car and a job and you're taking care of him. No, I was buying him a $5 sandwich.
Wasn't there something where there's a death in the player's family and one of the coaches bought the player lunch at the airport on the way and he got in trouble for that?
With a story with me?
No, this is like a national story.
Yeah, probably. And you just go, okay, that's not what we're talking about.
It should be one of those things where, like, okay, like, you violated rule. Let's take a look at what you did.
Yeah.
You got a meal on your way to, like, a bad event in your life. Like, this isn't.
It's like, hey, look, we frown upon that. I understand what you did. Cool gesture. Just try to stay away from that. Okay. But even why is that in place? But I guess it has to go as far as that, because that, like I said, that $5 sandwich or meal or whatever it might be might turn into, oh, you got your family a house. Okay, well, that's a bit drastic. That's a big difference. But now with name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal, are these things better for college sports? I think to some extent they can be. My thought always on the transfer portal, this is the way I would like it to be utilized. I think, Chris, if I went to go play for you, I'm a basketball player. I respect you as a coach. I want to go to your program. I'm basically going because of you. And I'm there, and I get there, and then you announce you got a job in the NBA, and I'm like, oh. Well, the only reason I came to this school is for you, and you've left. I would like to leave school. That makes some sense. Where I think it's being used is, well, same idea. I came to play for you. You're not playing me. No, I'm leaving. Okay, maybe that's allowed once. And then I get to another school. This coach is not playing me. I'm leaving. I'm going to another one. Now it's turning into, are you just waiting for where's your opportunity? Maybe you're not good enough. Maybe you are. Maybe it truly is a matter of circumstances. A couple years ago, Sac State played a school called Incarnate Word. Their quarterback was great, but I believe it was his 7th school. And to me, we're doing that wrong. Like, that's wrong. That's too much. So, again, it can be utilized, hopefully for the right way, but it's getting pretty crazy. Jay Billis, who has a law background, is really smart, has a lot of different ideas on kind of the transfer portal, just kind of where we're going with college sports. This is more regarding college basketball, I think. But here's what he says is an easier fix to this.
The solution is simple. And the NCAA and the member institutions just don't want to do it. The solution is sign the players to contracts. They're employees, and you can sign them to a contract and put a buyout in it if you want, just like with coaches. I mean, the Boston College coach left to go to the NFL. First of all, he had NFL ties before that. He was in the NFL before he went to Boston College. But then you saw somebody leave from the NFL to go to Boston College. So what does that say? This to me is just, kind of, and I love all these coaches, but it's just more coach complaining. They're making a ton of money. Things have changed. Adjust to it. And it's not that big of a deal. But if the NCAA wants to fix this, they can fix it tomorrow. All they have to do is take off all restrictions for schools paying their athletes, and they would sign them to contracts just like they do coaches and administrators and all that. It's really not that difficult. But we're trying to walk the line of maintaining amateurism, which is dead. And then we're complaining about NIL. It's not what we thought it was going to be. What did they think was going to happen? I knew this was going to happen, and you and I talked about it. Mm-hmm. The schools want to pay the players. They want to have the best players, and they're going to do what it takes to get them, and they're going to compete in the marketplace to do it. And once players are allowed to be paid by, in this unilateral wage restriction that the NCAA is using, which is violative of federal antitrust law, things will normalize. And we won't have to worry about the transfer portal. You sign a player to a contract, put a buyout in it, put conditions in it that are bargained between the player and the institution. It won't be a problem anymore. Just like they don't worry about coaches transferring from one school to another. They pay their buyout. It's orderly. And everybody knows what the market is. It's just not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, it was Jay Bellis. I think that was with Rich Eisen on his show. Yeah, Chris, literally, what is the difference? The school, I no secret here. I like UCLA football and UCLA basketball. Chip Kelly was the head coach at UCLA, and he felt it was better for him to leave as the head coach to go to Ohio State to be an offensive coordinator. But he left. And some people probably literally went there to play for him. He's gone. So shouldn't the players have some of the same opportunities? But the contract premise is an interesting one.
I think that's something I've been saying about. It's like, oh, you're going to have these players go for 3 different years at 3 different schools. Like, we'll pay them.
Yeah.
Have them sign a contract. You will be with us from here to here. And you could put bonuses in it or anything to that effect. I think it could even help the NBA, because I think a lot of the times players come out early because it's a way to get a payday.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I would rather get paid than just sit here and maybe that payday never comes.
Yeah.
Well, now what if you get like a good contract to play at UCLA for 3 years? Well, then your basketball coach is also going to work with you to make you better. They're not going to like hide your deficiencies like they are now. Like, okay, if I can make him an all around better player, this is better for the program. And then, when you get into the NBA, you're going to be better prepared for that type of game instead of just trying to get everything I can out of you, and whatever you do afterwards doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah. And I think if you think about the contract idea, it really is good. Now, there's some flaws potentially in that. I wanted to double check this. Okay, here's a case in point. I think that where this might ultimately move quicker is through women's sports and women's college basketball. So we were talking about Caitlin Clark earlier. I believe the WNBA max salary is, it's absurd what it is. I know for a while back it was like $100,000. So let's say it's, it's more, but how much more? Caitlin Clark at Iowa, what she's bringing into the school is going to be worth way more than she is going to be to the Connecticut Sun, to the Phoenix Mercury, to the right. She is transforming that program. And Iowa basketball sellouts.
Did anyone talk about Iowa women's basketball before?
Yeah, and now her name is synonymous with that school forever. And so that's where it makes sense for someone like her. This is her last year, but playing all the years because she can potentially make more money in college. The amateurism part, he's right, is dead to some extent to those power sports. Whereas men, like if the same opportunity came, and there's not a single men's player currently in college basketball. Let's say there was at a school at Sac State, at UC Davis, that was garnering the same kind of attention. But if they knew they were going to be the lottery pick, they're gone. And because they're going to go right into the pros, start that clock, and that's the next part of their business opportunity. Whereas the imbalance of what WNBA players make compared to NBA players, compared to what Caitlin Clark can do at college, makes you wonder, it's probably more beneficial for someone like that to stay in college and get the benefits, all the NIL that they can get. It's crazy where this is, where it's going, and what I don't know that there necessarily needs to be a full fix. It's just we're in the beginning parts of all this, and you're seeing where some of the drawbacks are. But college sports are going to continue to change, and this is something that's certainly worth watching. All right, the Kings are worth watching, and they're finally going to be back for us to watch, as they're going to be back in action starting tomorrow. They gathered yesterday for workout. De'Aaron Fox admitted that shoulder has been a little bit more of an issue than we all thought, or at least he addresses that. We'll hear from him, Coach Brown, Keegan Murray, all that when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Slayer and get your guaranteed maximum refund? It feels like the last level of a video game, facing off against the final boss who stands between you and your refund.
All your refund is belong to me.
Using the power of Tax Slayer like a secret power-up he doesn't see coming.
Only the most tax confident can defeat me.
Throwing your laptop at his video game face and watching him crumble into a giant pile of shiny coin tax refunds.
Oh, not fair. You use Tax Slayer.
Save up to 80% when you file with Tax Slayer. Start for free.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Brakes? We can save you 15% on that. We have OE quality Duralast brake pads and rotors in stock, ready for pickup or delivery. We also have calipers, brake fluid, tools, and anything else you'll need to do the job right. When you get Duralast pads and rotors together, you'll save 15%. It's just part of what makes us America's #1 brakes destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs today in the lower to mid-60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Doug Christie here. It's Folsom Lake Kia's President's Day sales event. Save on new 2024 Kias with low payments, low finance rates, and zero down deals on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia in the Folsom Auto Mall.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale, and that focus on quality continues today with brands like FlexSteel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water reel.
For John's 60th birthday, his family planned to drive down Old Route 66. But the trip took a detour when his wife got sick with RSV. It's a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems and hospitalizations.
This year, we don't want to cancel our plans. We're protecting ourselves with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine.
Abrysvo, a vaccine to prevent lower respiratory disease from RSV in people 60 years and older. It's not for everyone and may not protect all who receive it. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had an allergic reaction to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may decrease your response. Most common side effects are tiredness, headache, injection site pain, and muscle pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrisvo.com.
So don't wait. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrisvo, because every breath matters.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916.
Jason Ross, Christopher Law, Carmichael Dave on vacation this week. He's back with us next week. It's Wednesday, normally at 8 o'clock. We have Katie Christensen on. Hey, don't worry. We're going to have Katie on, but she's moving to 9 today, or probably going forward, I think. That's an easier time. And we normally have Niners at 9, but things kind of, season's over. We'll take a little hiatus on Niners at 9. But you instinctually you dialed Katie. I said, Chris, who are you calling? And then it was like, whoa. So did she actually pick up?
So right as I was hanging, as I'm putting my finger down to hang up, I saw that it answered.
So you didn't hear her?
No.
But you knew she answered.
I knew she answered. I was like, crap.
That's the weird one. So then she called back?
She called back.
Yeah.
And
so we're good?
Yeah. She said, I thought Jason said 9. She's like, I could do 8.
So we have to wait another hour. We will have Katie Christensen joining us at 9 o'clock. We got some Kings conversation coming your way. I just saw this posted. I'm going to do a quick guess for you, Chris. We were just talking about money, college athletes, what people make. And, I've often said this before. I wonder if all of our opinions on athletes would change if we didn't know their salaries. For whatever reason we do, I think it would impact everybody at their own job. If you knew what everybody at your workforce made, I don't think that's healthy.
I think they would say, Chris, you do an amazing job.
I would say, Chris, that's it. No, I don't know. I don't know what Chris makes. But you would have a certain feel if you think everybody knows what they do, and maybe some people have their own self-evaluation problems thinking, I do everything around here. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you're one of those people that think you do, and then someone maybe who's less experienced or just got there, but that's probably the one that would bother people the most. Someone that just arrives and you go, wait, they make what? I've been here for this long and they make what? So it's weird that we know what athletes make, and the same kind of thing. I could make a free throw if I got paid $40 million a year.
But then also it was good to have Doug Christie here for a bit, because then you get his side of things. And we do it every time. We go to the website, see this person made this much in their career. Mm-hmm. And we showed it to Doug, and he's like, I didn't make that much.
Yeah. There's different things.
It's well, what do you mean? Well, your contract is just he said he would have made what his contract said if they won a championship, He was the MVP in the league.
Oh, right.
and the finals. He was an all-star. He was all NBA player. He's like, once I hit that, then I would have made what they said I made.
Well, let me ask you this then. I'm going to do a quick trivia. So I've got 5 NFL announcers. What do you think? I'll see if you're close on any of these. So Jim Nantz, Chris Collinsworth, Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, and Tony Romo. So we've got, let me see, 2 play-by-play, 3 analysts. What's your guess on what they make?
As you said that, were you doing that in ranking like Jim Nantz is number 1?
I technically did it 5-1, the reverse. So it's if you're going 1 to 5.
Tony Romo makes the most.
Romo, Aikman, Buck, Collinsworth, Nantz.
Aikman makes more than Buck.
Romo and Aikman basically make the same.
Okay.
So they're in one tier. Buck and Collinsworth make the same. And then Nantz is in his own, is the bottom tier, but I mean, he's doing just fine.
Okay. I'll say Nantz. And I'm guessing it's just for the NFL, not for like golf stuff.
I believe that's got to be what it says. NFL announcer salaries. Now, again, whether this is right, who knows?
Nantz, I'm going to say 10 million.
10.5.
Oh. Collinsworth and Buck, I'm going to say 15.
Okay, they're both 12.5.
Okay, well then Aikman and Romo have to be 15.
18.
Okay. 18.
So basically, Tony Romo is making $1 million a game.
But we get him for the Super Bowl for free.
You know what, guys? This one's on me. Do it for free.
I'll do it for free. But hey, I'm going to just start saying crazy things.
You know, at the end here, it's kind of like second quarter.
It's for the Super Bowl.
This first quarter is kind of like the second quarter. Don't think of it as overtime. Touchdown. Chiefs win. Wow. Wait, what? What happened, Tony? 18 million.
Tony.
Wow. Tony. Good for them. Just slightly less than that here. Just slightly less. So the Sacramento Kings are back in action tomorrow. Finally. The long wait. Well, it's not over. We still got to wait another day for the Kings to take on the Spurs. Yesterday, the guys got together, but talked a little bit about their break. Let's first hear from the head coach of the Kings, Mike Brown, on his time away.
A lot of fun. I just chased Iverson around the hotel all day.
Ritz-Carlton.
Yes, it was the Ritz-Carlton.
Take a step back. Good move.
We did not take a step back. I think I'm out of the doghouse though because I kind of went on that rant. So I got the doghouse with the NBA, and I got the doghouse with Rochelle, and so I had to backpedal in a lot of different directions, which I did, and I think I'm good across the board right now. So I'm feeling good.
So Mike Brown got a little time away. As far as Keegan Murray goes, we know he was in the Rising Stars Challenge. Let's hear Keegan's thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean it's a different format compared to the Sunday game, but I feel like it's competitive, especially once you hit like that 30-point mark. So.
Keegan was pretty funny. I know there's some videos of him out at All-Star break on different people he would, they're asking a bunch of different questions from media he probably doesn't normally see, and just Keegan being Keegan for sure. But he also addressed that it was good to have some time off.
Yeah. When you're seeing each other every single day since early September, you kind of just want to break from everyone. So I feel like a lot of guys needed that. We came back. It was like we never missed a beat. So it was good to see everyone today.
Physically too, it can help.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone in this facility has some sort of injury, so it helps a lot.
All right, let's hear from De'Aaron. So a couple people talking yesterday about this break, All-Star weekend, getting some time away. De'Aaron talking about that rest.
Definitely just need a couple days away. Obviously, with the issue that I have, like 5 days isn't going to solve it, but you definitely need that type of break in the middle of the season. Obviously, that's why the NBA always has it. And obviously, it's not super long, and you don't want it to be super long because you don't want to get out of a groove that you've had. Obviously, I play almost 36 minutes a game. Like you're in the best shape that you're going to be in, so you don't want to sit down for too long. And obviously, working out like it's not the same as playing a game. So you want to try to obviously get that rest, but try to stay in as much rhythm as you can.
Yeah, so there's kind of that balance. Rest is good, rhythm is important. That's very much what the sport is about. But you heard De'Aaron in there. There was a little breadcrumb in there when he's like, obviously with the issues that I have. Issues? Well, we've all been kind of asking and wondering what's going on with Fox. Like he's still an incredible player, and you'll see flashes of it, and you go, man, De'Aaron Fox is playing at an MVP level. And then other nights, it's like, he's not getting, like we would always say, downhill. He's not attacking the paint. He's not making that impact that he can with his speed and his superpowers. Well, De'Aaron Fox talked about his injuries.
Is that a tear? I'm sorry, James.
A tear on my shoulder?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't know if we got an MRI. I don't think we ever got an MRI on it, but it was never serious enough for me to do that.
Something with the labrum, though.
I have no idea. Nope. I know what a labrum is because I've heard people tear their labrum, but I know it's not that.
Okay. So his shoulder, and we've seen that, Chris. I think there's been times in games where like, he's holding the shoulder, and you immediately think, is he done? Is he out tonight? He just keeps playing. So I don't know if it falls in line with one of those things like, hey, everybody's banged up and he's playing through it, but that seems to be what's going on with De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, and the way he said, like, 5 days is going to fix it. So
yeah,
this is going to be
the
rest of the season.
Yeah. And, I don't think there's any talk of any kind of surgery. There isn't of any kind of that. So this is who De'Aaron's going to be, how he's going to be. And I think we're going to get more of what we saw. Some days, like the end of the Denver game the other day, the last one before the break, he was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible in the final 2 minutes of that game. Scored the last 10 points, maybe more than 2 minutes, but was the reason the Kings won. I mean, he was that dominant, and that was fantastic to see. We want to see more of that. I mean, De'Aaron truly is a special player. And I know when we talked about maybe a month or so ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe it was early January, when De'Aaron was on a run of hitting so many three-pointers. I think we even had a segment labeled, when did he turn into Steph Curry? Now, he's not that kind of a shooter, but he was making 7, 8, 9 threes in a couple games in a row, and you're just going, if he does that with his ability to get downhill, he is absolutely unguardable. And then he started getting way too comfortable with the jump shot and stopped driving. And I thought, okay, I like the fact that he can shoot threes, shooting them at a much higher percentage. We always were waiting for that jump shot to develop. But if he doesn't have the answer to it, which is truly his unguardable move, is getting to the basket with his quickness, that's what makes him that lethal threat, like the two-way threat where you can score at every level and they can't stop you from driving. If they go under the screen, he's going to shoot, over the top. But he was getting just a little bit too predictable, shooting too many threes, and maybe that was a shoulder concern or whatever the case may be. But as he finds his way, as he continues to work through the kinks, manages, his shoulder discomfort, and the rest of the group just continues on reps and continues on ways to improve. That's going to be the best version of this team. That's what we're waiting for. That's what we believe is out there, all while still showing a good record, but a record that has them in 8th compared to 3rd a year ago. A record that if they want to get to the top 6, the top 4, they've got to be better in certain areas. What are those areas? Well, the guys addressed it. We'll hear their comments on what needs to improve the most. We'll have that when we come back right here on Sactown Sports.
Keep it here to Sactown Sports for the Sacramento Kings push toward the postseason.
Get analysis from our local shows, breakdowns from our Kings insiders, and all the thrilling moments from the G-Man.
Keegan Murray scrambles to save it. He gives it now to Barnes. 1 on the clock. Desperate 3 on the way. He scores the triple. Game tied at 121 apiece. 17 for Barnes.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different? How? You sell high commission investment products, right?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission-based investment products.
Well, you must earn commissions on trades.
Nope, never at Fisher. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our client's best interest. It's the highest standard of care for a financial advisor.
How do you know what's in their best interest?
We get to know our clients and then tailor a portfolio based on their goals and needs.
But you probably sneak in some hidden and layered fees.
No, we have one transparent management fee, structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, you really do look out for your clients.
That's because our top priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. It might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments. Clearly different money management.
Investments and securities involve the risk of loss.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
in purple. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on your local sports leader, Sactown Sports.
Coming up later this hour, we're going to have your chance to win tickets to see Hannibal Buress, courtesy of Live Nation. So we've teamed up with them here at Sactown Sports. Hannibal Buress later this hour, coming up in about 30 minutes, your opportunity to win tickets to see Hannibal Buress right here in town at the Crest Theater later in March. All right. Kings, Spurs tomorrow night. Kings had their first workout after the All-Star break last night, and we were talking about ways to get better, right? Where the Kings are right now, they're in okay position in the Western Conference. They're healthy. That's good. They're in the mix. They're in the race. They've got a little cushion on the teams behind them, a much larger cushion on from the play-in spot out, so like the 11th spot. But their target, as Monty McNair said to Carmichael Dave last Friday, top 6, ideally top 4 to get a home court playoff series. So if you look at how many games back there of the 6th spot, just 1.5. How many games back of the 4 seed? That's some work. 4.5. Not sure they can get there. They're going to have to play great in the final stretch of the season, the last 28 games. We've had some suggest as many as 20 wins. If they got to 20, I'd like their chances of being in the top 4. 20-8 finish would be pretty spectacular. You're obviously beating up on some Western Conference teams there. They got some tough games coming up. Certainly, they got more home games, 17 of them at home, 11 on the road. You still got one more East Coast road trip. You haven't even played the Knicks yet. You got 2 with them. There's about 4 or 5 teams that you play twice still, and a lot of them are good teams. So it's, I'm looking at the teams that they still play that are right in their cluster. Like they play the Suns one more time, the Pelicans one more time, the Mavs twice, the Lakers another time. How they do with that? Maybe the Lakers twice. Did they have the Lakers twice? I think they do. They're in here. So how they do with them? Still another game with the Nuggets, 2 more with the Clippers, 1 more with the Thunder, another one with the T-Wolves. I mean, look, it's the one team in the top 10 they don't play anymore is the Warriors. They're done with them. So they're going to be able to dictate the terms of their finish. Like we say, they'll like to say they control their own destiny. They really do. Now, it would be nice to get some help, but they need to work on some things like Mike Brown says. They need to improve certain parts of their defense, including defending the arc.
But, as crazy as it sounds, defensively for us, we've made improvements in a lot of areas. The one area that's hurting us, and it's hurting us really bad because we're not good at it, is defending the three-point line. We're dead last in defending the three-point line. And even if we were basically average or slightly above average defending the three, not even the best, but slightly around average, our defense rating, we'd be 8th in the NBA. And that's pretty good at this point in the season. And that's a huge jump. And so there are areas that we have to improve upon when it comes to closing out, not just the hot guys, but the non-hot guys as well. And so our technique, our sense of urgency, all that has to be on par. And that's probably the biggest thing that we've talked about defensively. But I like the direction we're headed on that end of the floor, with the exception of us defending the three-point line. And if we can get that corrected, I think we'll be in a pretty good position to finish this stretch run and go into the playoffs.
And that area is interesting for me because I don't know if there's something that they're structurally doing wrong. If it's by coincidence, other teams are always hot. When you're this far into the season and you're dead last in something, it can't just be a coincidence. There's one more follow-up here with Mike Brown on the problem with the three-point defense.
Mike, have you been able to identify the issue with the three-point defense?
Yes. Our right now we got our closeout technique has to be better. Teams aren't feeling us as much as they should, so we have to really concentrate on our closeout defense, and it's relevant or evident because what we call hot guys, they're shooting about 40% against us, and non-hot guys are shooting about 40% against us. And so our closeouts have to be a lot better, and our sense of urgency on our closeouts. And when I say our closeouts, that means the proximity to where we close out and how we could test and the sense of urgency to get there.
Well, a lot of this too, I think, is a little bit scheme. Like if you watch the Kings, some of the stuff just based on the way the roster is constructed or what they put out on the floor continually is a smaller team. And so when Domantas Sabonis is your center, you get so many wonderful things with that. A great rebounder. He's not a rim protector. He's in there. He can try to block shots, but I think they do their part to protect the paint. Makes some sense in that too, where generally you shoot a higher percentage in there and can do a lot of damage on a team when you give up a bunch of points in the paint. So if you're going to give up something, you want to give up something outside the arc or at least a longer shot. Well, right now teams are making more, but some technique things Coach is talking about that certainly could be amplified and worked on to get better. Coach Brown also talked about another area, and this one, there's no doubt we've all seen this. It's been an area of frustration, I know, for everyone out there, for the players themselves, for me. Free throw shooting has to get better.
And offensively, the reality of it is our free throw efficiency. If our free throw efficiency was better than what it is, even especially like if we were the same as last year, we'd be a top 10, maybe even top 5 offense very easily, and so our guys are doing a lot of good things, and they have to continue to try to perform at a high level in a lot of different areas. But there are, again, a couple of areas that we can really improve on offensively and defensively. I just gave you probably the one major one in each category, but there are a couple of areas that we need to focus on and try, like the Dickens, to become a lot better than what we are right now.
Yeah, to me, the free throw one's a little bit of a head scratcher because some of the guys are just shooting lower than they normally do. I think has become a mental thing. I don't know any other way to say it. They shoot it enough over their lifetime. I bet they've shot 1 million free throws, maybe more. They know how to do it. They know the premise. They know the routine. They have the same routine. And there's been games where they've been good and effective at it. There's been plenty of games where it's hurt them and cost them games. So I think it especially a guy like Malik Monk, who was so good early on, you got to believe it's something that's entered and made it more of a mental thing with him. All right, a couple more thoughts. Let's hear from the players. De'Aaron Fox also talking about what Coach is saying about improving on the defense.
I feel great. I feel confident. Obviously, the last game that we played, I think we did a great job on the defensive side of the ball. So continue to focus in on that, obviously, and control the things that we can control. And that's being a better team defensively, especially guarding the three-point line. Obviously, we don't give up a lot of threes, but teams are shooting almost 40% against us, and that's like unheard of. So we have to be better in that aspect. And if we can be, we could be a really good team.
Yeah. So again, improvement everywhere. Lock in on defense. I think we're seeing a guy like Keegan Murray working a lot on that end, and he talked about having to guard really the opposing team's best players, and Keegan's done a good job with that.
I feel like I've been doing a pretty good job. I try and do my best out there. Obviously, I'm guarding superstars every night, the best guys in the league. So the foul trouble, it is what it is. But I feel like I've been doing a good job in that aspect, just helping other guys around have less on their plate on defense.
And I know the nights where they're missing maybe some of Keegan's offense, you are getting quality defense from him. There's some of the metrics that are out there. We're showing he's been one of the best ISO one-on-one defenders in the league. And you could just see it. And the coaching staff is more than comfortable with putting him on as a stopper, or at least a guy that slows down some other elite scorers around the NBA. Lastly, more from Keegan. Most importantly, it's kind of looking to tomorrow, locking in one game at a time. Spurs are next. That's the team in front of them.
I haven't looked at it. We're just worried about San Antonio at this point. The one thing we can't do is look ahead at our games. We just need to take one game at a time and just put our best foot forward every single night.
You know what's funny about that, and I get it. I mean, I know that's an athlete speak and everything, one game at a time. That's how they have to approach it. But I've always looked at the schedule and looked ahead and know what's coming up. It doesn't mean I'm looking past the team you're playing, but you just kind of have an idea of where the landmines are. It's like, man, there's a 6-game road trip coming up with all teams above 500. Let's really lock in going into that. And then, oh, by the way, tonight we play this team. Yeah, I'm focused on this team. But I don't know. It's interesting that the way, whether or not they say it and mean it or just say it to say it, because it's been something that's been said for so many years. All right, there's some thoughts on what the guys are saying. What's the league think about where things are right now, and specifically the Kings? But how about that MVP race? Looking at what NBA.com, they've got on NBA.com, they've got the MVP ladder. They basically have rankings of who leads in the MVP race. A name that has now made their list is Domantas Sabonis. He didn't even make the All-Star team, but right now they've got him 6th in the MVP race. Can he actually win it? It's probably a stretch, but we'll see if we can make a case. We'll try that when we come back here on Sactown Sports.
Subscribe to Sactown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by AutoAccident.com.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs today in the lower to mid 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When the unexpected happens, trust AutoAccident.com. Loyalty and compassion set them apart. They're with you every step of the way. AutoAccident.com. That's AutoAccident.com.
Sky's the limit at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. Enjoy over 80 table games, the hottest slot machines, and our thrilling high limit room. Plus, with Sky River rewards that add up and up, and 17 bars and restaurants to experience. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
It's been estimated that we lose more than 400 million golf balls globally every year. Hitting it in the fairway is a great way to prevent lost balls, but Golf Magazine's Josh Sen says, we can do better, people. First, play the right tees. The architect designed the placement of hazards for different handicaps. Second, find a reference point. Pick a tree, a shack, or a path where the shot was headed, and keep it locked as you head off the tee. Third, maybe use a highly visible ball. You've got a better crack at tracking your ball if it's the color of a lemon or a tangerine. And anecdotal evidence suggests there's something freeing about knocking around a cartoonishly colored golf ball. 4, do not look away in disgust. A natural reaction to a slice or duck hook is to turn away. As hard as it is to find an errant shot, it's even tougher if you don't know where to look. And finally, be a good scout. Instead of fiddling with your phone, keep an eye on your partner shots. The more time you spend watching, the less time you spend looking. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton's President's Day savings. Unleash luxury and precision in a new Acura Integra, RDX, MDX, or TLX. Quality meets affordability with savings on our best selection. Get to AcuraofStockton.com and start your experience today. Own the road in style. Visit us today or go to AcuraofStockton.com. Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
on Sactown Sports.
Katie Christensen set to join us at 9 o'clock. Jason Ross here with you. Christopher Laud. Carmichael Dave is off this week, back with us next week. All right, so NBA basketball second portion of the schedule begins tomorrow, Kings included, when they take on the San Antonio Spurs. I mentioned last segment we were talking about the MVP ladder, which is something that NBA.com does, where they basically rank the players that they believe have the best chance to win the MVP. We're going to try to make a case for Domantas Sabonis here in a moment, but let's talk some Kings first with our guy, JR. JR, good morning.
Good morning, Jay. What's going on?
How are you?
Good. You and Chris running the airplane, you know, and where is old CD?
I don't know.
In New York?
He took the wings with him.
Took Fire Wings with him?
Yes, he did.
Hey, I like your scenario, though. I'm going to go 18-10 also.
18-10?
Here.
Okay.
I'm going to go 18-10.
Where did that fit? Where would that put him?
I'm going to give them the 6.
Okay.
That puts them right above the border.
Yeah.
So they have to threaten themselves going on the road. It's going to be real interesting. I hope, and I think we all hope this, with Sabonis and Fox being slighted here in what was the worst venue of All-Star ever in the history of the world, that they are a little slighted and they play on this little bit of a pissed-off level, which they already play at a great level. We know we love our two boys, but maybe even raise it up a notch.
Yeah,
right?
but Angry Fox is a pretty good version of De'Aaron Fox.
I like Angry Fox. It's like a cartoon character. And hey, question on that idea, man. Here, you know the old song "Fox on the Run," right?
I do.
The old '70s song. Why aren't they playing that in the arena when he gets a breakaway and goes like, runs like a 2.440? They should be doing the Fox on the Run. I'm gonna have to call someone and help with that.
You want
the ideas?
You
there
want
in the arena.
70s marginal music being played during the Fox on the Run, right?
Hey, Guardians of the Galaxy made a whole friggin' trilogy out of it, so let it roll, brother.
It worked for
Great
them.
show. Love you.
Thank you, JR.
Chris is
Appreciate
doing an
that.
okay job, too. Chris is a good man.
He is.
Keep him. Bye.
Bye. There's JR checking in. So he's right. I mean, 18-10 would be nice. I'd take that. I think that would put the Kings in the top 6 and secure at least out of that playing game. Now, the top 6 would you still have to go on the road in the first round. Top 4, obviously, you get home court. All right, so here we go. The MVP ladder we're talking about. Here's where their rankings are right now in the NBA, according to NBA.com. We're going to give some other candidates mentioned. Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton. Tyrese actually has to worry about the 65-game plateau. Karl-Anthony Towns. Those are 5 more that are listed outside their top 10. At number 10, they have Anthony Davis. Number 9, Kevin Durant. Number 8, Donovan Mitchell. He also has to worry about games played. In a tie for 6th, Kawhi Leonard and Domantas Sabonis. So everybody I mentioned in the others list, Towns, Halliburton, Edwards, Brunson, Booker, Davis, Durant, Mitchell, Kawhi, all-stars. Domantas was not, but right now they currently have him listed as 6th in the MVP race. He finished 5th, if I'm not mistaken, last year. Jason Tatum 5th. I've actually thought he would be a little bit higher. Luka Doncic 4, Giannis 3, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 2, and number 1, Nikola Jokic. Jokic is, in an interesting position because to me, I ask this question every time we're talking about awards, what is your definition of MVP? Because I think that is a little bit different with everyone. I like to go on kind of a hybrid of a combination of things. One, obviously, a great player with having a great season of stats on a team that's winning, that I also like to imagine the team without them, what they'd look like. So truly value. So like if you took Jokic off the Nuggets, I don't think they're very good. No, that's not fair. They're not what they are. Whereas if you took, let's say, Jason Tatum off Boston, they'll be fine. They'll function. I still think he's a great player, their best player, an important player. You take Giannis off the Bucks, they've got some other pieces. They're not going to be the same. I mean, all these guys kind of fit that. So, but to me, like the one that just jumps out the most is Nikola Jokic on just that kind of MVP premise. He's got stats. They've got a good record. He's the most important piece. He's unguardable to an extent. He makes everybody better. He's been a 2-time MVP. It feels right to me. Joel Embiid was playing great. He's now obviously not going to be qualified anymore. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's an interesting one. He's putting up, just amazing numbers offensively, and he's number one in steals. And the team has done a nice thing. You've got to also have the record part of it. And if you look at standings, I think a guy like Luka Doncic, Dallas is 7th. That's an area, if we're trying to make a case for Domantas Sabonis, that hurts him. Currently in 8th. So how would you get Domantas Sabonis on this MVP ladder to win the MVP? No Sacramento King has ever won an MVP. If I remember right, I want to say in 2001 or 2, Chris Webber finished 2nd, I think, behind Garnett. Chris, you going to look that up? Yeah, I think C-Web finished 2nd or 3rd. I don't know if ever has finished any closer than that in the history of the Sacramento Kings. So how on earth could Domantas Sabonis win this MVP? So let's try to make this case. If you want to text in how it can be done, and we're stretching here. Someone's saying on the text line, I can't remember a year a dude gets MVP votes but didn't make an All-Star team. Pretty sure that hasn't happened. Well, last year Sabonis and people have made the All-Star team or All-NBA team and not made the All-Star team. So I'm assuming some people have gotten MVP votes when they didn't make the All-Star team. Did you find that results yet, Chris?
What year were you looking for?
I want to say it's like 01, 02, 2000. I think it was when Garnett won the MVP. Was C-Web 2nd or 3rd? There was a
when
time
Garnett won.
Maybe I'm off a year. Garnett won in like 04, huh?
Yeah, he won in 03, 04.
Okay.
The closest I see Weber is he was 4th in the 2000-2001 season.
Really? Okay. Who won that year?
Allen Iverson.
Okay. So Sabonis finished 5th last year. Weber's finished 4th. It's tough for the Sacramento Kings. One, we just know smaller market. But look, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right here is number 2. It can be done. So how would Sabonis have to do it this year? Well, first and foremost, in the last 28, they have to play great. They have to move considerably up in the standings and likely be in a top 4 team. Other areas that can make it happen, I say make it happen. I don't know. This is a long shot. Statistically, I think people are automatically jump to points per game. It's just something that it's a default. How do you win games? You score more points than the other team. We're enamored by the people in the top of scoring. I don't know if you realize this. Domantas Sabonis, who's averaging 20 points per game, that's a pretty good number. He's 50th in the league in scoring at 20.1 points per game. That to me really surprised me that he's 50th in scoring at 20.1. Bam Adebayo, Porzingis, Wembanyama, Murray, Rozier, Hero, Franz Wagner, Cam Thomas, Alperen Şengün, all these guys scoring more than him, and everybody else on the MVP list scoring more than him. Now, what he has advantages of, he's number 1 in rebounds. Assists, I think this is just totally telling. He's 6th in the league in assists. Now, the problem is Nikola Jokic, also a center, is 4th, but he's catchable. Domantas Sabonis, a half assist per game behind Nikola Jokic. He's 6th. If he passed Jokic, he could likely pass James Harden too. I don't know that he can get all the way to Luka Doncic. So if he got ahead of somehow Nikola Jokic in assists, won the rebounding title, finished in the top 5 in assists, continues and breaks the double-double streak, which he's closing in on Kevin Love for consecutive double-doubles, leads the league in triple-doubles, and gets the Kings to a top 4, I don't know. And it's all about a season award. That's about as much momentum as he could get. I still think he would come up short, but that's about the way to do it. He'd have to move up in scoring, catch Jokic in assists, continue to lead the league in rebounding, and help the team in moving into the top 4. All possible. And I think even if all of that happened while, what did I say, continue to break the double-double streak and lead the league in triple-doubles, I think he finishes in the top, maybe even 3, but I don't think he wins it. Because then I think you're arguing Jokic versus Sabonis. And Jokic then can also go, look, I'm 3-0 so far against him this year. If they beat him a fourth time. Did you find other numbers, Chris? I saw you doing some number crunching.
It's a little too far-fetched. I was saying how many he would have to average a triple-double.
Yeah, it's a lot more than
13.2
assists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which shows you how great like the year when Westbrook did it. I mean, because he's so far. I feel like Sabonis has been doing it late. He's always been but he might have 4 in a game or 6 early on. Now he's getting close to 10 every night.
Yeah. And then and also Westbrook kind of ruined the triple-double because the first time, MVP. That's the first time since
Did he do it 3 in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the third time is like, okay, whatever.
No big deal. Yeah. I mean, Sabonis this month, for example, is averaging 10.3. You said he would need to average what per game?
13.2.
Let me see. How many times has he had 13 or more assists this year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Yeah. Don't think that's going to happen. But the other parts. So, Chris, if he did the scenario I said, improve the Kings to a top 4, moved up the scoring, he's 50th at 20.1. He can move up, but whatever. Lead the league in rebounding, get to the top 5 in assists and pass Jokic. Break the double-double streak, he's really close to that, and then lead the league in triple-doubles. I still don't think he wins it.
Nope.
Yeah. Isn't that a shame? He can do all of that, and I don't think he wins
if he was on the Lakers,
he'd win it twice in the same year. Unbelievable. But good for him to be on that list. Good for him to be playing like that, and hopefully he continues with more of the same. All right. Right now is your chance as we step aside. 1-800-920-1140, 916-339-1140 for you to win a pair of tickets to see Hannibal Buress. Live Nation has teamed up with Sactown Sports for your chance to see Hannibal Buress at the historic Crest Theater in downtown Sacramento. That's coming up March 22nd. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, and we're looking for caller number 2 to score the pair of tickets to pull up to Hannibal Buress next month. If you want more information, just go to SactownSports.com. Again, 1-800-920-1140 or 916-339-1140. When we return, we have 2 questions. Who's hot? Who's not? We'll answer those. And we got some baseball notes. All that coming your way before we get to Katie Christensen at 9. Straight ahead here on Sactown Sports.
What's the latest with the San Francisco 49ers? Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross keep you up to date on all things red and gold during the Niners at 9 every weekday at 9 a.m. on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
RC Willey has everything for your home, including furniture, mattresses, appliances, electronics, and flooring. With our vast selection, it's easy to find items that fit your style and your budget. We also offer a variety of finance options, including 0 down and 0 interest for 18 months. Whether you're looking to establish new credit or ready to make your space more cozy, we can help. With our flexible finance options, you can easily update your home one piece or one room at a time. Plus, we have a low price guarantee. Let us help you make your home your way at RC Willey.
Dr. Ken Howachek and kinesiologist Kelsey Graham discuss the Good Feet store.
The foot has a lot of detail. It has a lot of complexity. There's a lot that can go wrong. A lot of problems start in the foot and end up elsewhere. Knee pain, hip pain, back pain. When aligning the feet properly, we can see relief elsewhere. And that's the beauty of the Good Feet Arch support. It can place the feet into their ideal position and gives them the balance, the support, the comfort, and the relief of the pain. The bottom line is that the Good Feet Arch support can be a highly effective pain relief solution when nothing else has worked.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, Modesto, Stockton, and Vacaville for a free fitting and test walk. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Fidium Fiber Internet is fast becoming a hometown favorite. With a dedicated connection and speeds up to 2 gigs, Fidium is winning over fans every day. Plans start at just $25 a month, so everyone can experience the best internet in the game. Visit FidiumFiber.com.
Hagen Oaks is introducing the newly designed Callaway Chrome Tour line of golf balls offering outstanding tour performance. From cover to core, Chrome Tour is the new gold standard tour ball for players who want the best in distance and feel. Chrome Tour is engineered for outstanding performance with exceptional speed, consistent flight, incredible spin, and greenside control. Ask about the full line of Callaway Chrome Tour golf balls at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
What's hot and what's not. Brought to you by American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. Head to AmericanEnergyAir.com to find out more.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
What's hot?
Yeah, hot. Real hot. And what's not?
It's not good. Brought to you by American Energy Heating and Air, Sacramento's complete heating and cooling company and second opinion partner.
All right, Chris, who is hot?
St. Mary Gales.
What?
They're currently 18th in the nation and are on a 14-game winning streak. During the streak, they have had 293 more points than its opponents, 157 more rebounds, 108 more assists, 35 more steals, and 23 more blocks. No Division I team in the last 25 years has matched all of those differentials in any 14-game span.
You know what you've just done?
What's that?
You have just put that school in my head. So when the bracket comes out, I'll go, oh, yeah, they're hot.
Sleeper.
Yeah, I'll go, oh, that's a watch. I got them 3 rounds all of a sudden, and I've not seen them play a game. But that's how it works. I love that. I love that. So if they're hot, who's not?
The Washington Wizards.
They haven't played.
Yeah, but they currently have the longest losing streak with 8 games in a row.
Okay.
We've also talked about how terrible Detroit has been, historically bad. Detroit Pistons. Wizards are only 1 game above them.
The Wizards. What is Marvin Bagley's winning percentage? He went from the Kings to the Pistons to the Wizards, and the bad version of the Kings.
That's a good question.
Man, who was it that came here years ago that had the long? Oh, it was Sharif Abdur-Rahim. Long time ago. Had one of the worst. It was like the best player that had never been to the postseason, and his first time in the postseason was, I think, the last year the Kings made it in 2006. But he had been on the Hawks when they were really bad and the Grizzlies. And finally made the postseason. Well, that's who's hot, who's not. We did get a winner, right, for our Hannibal Buress tickets?
Yes, we did.
All right.
Mike.
Congrats to Mike taking them down. Jess is trying. She's trying. One of our faithful listeners. Jess, tomorrow's your day. Maybe even Friday. I'm hoping. We're pulling for you to get you to go see Hannibal Buress. Major League Baseball will be starting here pretty soon. Spring training starts tomorrow. The regular season will be going still a few weeks away from that. Saw some news yesterday. We talked last week, I believe, about the news the Oakland A's getting new broadcast team or a new broadcast announcer, I should say, as Chris Carey has been added as the play-by-play announcer, and he joins Jenny Kavnar, who also was announced maybe a week or so ago. But if you're hearing that name, Chris Carey, is that any relation? Oh, you bet it is. Chris Carey is, let's see, we got to go through the lineage here. He is the great grandson of Harry Carey. His grandfather was Skip Carey, and his father is Chip Carey. He said all along.
Who's his grandfather?
Skip.
So that would make him his great-grandfather.
Harry is his great-grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah. Great-grandfather of Harry Carey, or great-grandson. His grandfather is Skip. His father is Chip. And here's Chris Carey. He said since he's 4, he's wanted to be a baseball announcer.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yes. I mean, clearly in their family. And he's going to be the newest member of the Oakland A's. That would be one, like, not that there's expectations if that's what you want, but like, or whatever else. I don't know. I want to go into law school. Sure. Nope. You're going to be a baseball announcer. No, I get it. That's a fun passion. That's a great opportunity. And the Oakland A's will have themselves a new looking broadcast team. I saw this too as well on MLB.com was listing their opening day lineup. So we were doing this, a week or so ago with Dave, when we were just talking about how different it is now when you're trying to guess everybody's lineup or figure out who. It used to be a different thing years ago. You could just name everybody around the horn, who they played, who they had years ago. I don't know why it's changed, but it has, and I'm even a baseball fan. Dave, what did he quiz us on, Chris? Was it like the top 10 batting averages, just even like their last names, I think, of people or something like that, which that was a chore.
No, what I think has hurt personally myself from not knowing any of the players is baseball video games.
That's what got you into it?
No, that's not what but that's how I remembered all the players in the league.
What, you were a Red Sox fan. I don't even know would you even call yourself a Red Sox fan anymore? How far back can you go where you could pretty much name like the fielding lineup? Where you go, I know who's at first, second, short, third.
I've got such a terrible memory.
But do you know, like, Nomar was your guy? Nomar.
Yeah, Nomar.
Do you know who played around him for the most part? Or is it just Nomar?
Nomar.
I'm trying to think if I could do it.
Kevin Millar.
He was at
first.
Bill
Miller was at third.
Okay.
Nomar was at shortstop.
I don't know. Was Pedroia there then?
No. I think.
And Euclid wasn't there yet? Or was he around? Okay.
I think that might have been around his rookie season.
Okay.
I think 2004 was his rookie season.
Gotcha.
Oh man, I'm trying now that I've got a terrible memory. Johnny Damon and this player were running at each other when the A's Red Sox series and blasted into each other.
Wasn't Manny there?
Manny was there. Ortiz was there.
Yeah. Jason
Varitek.
Yeah. But see how you could, it's even with struggling to remember, you're saying, but you're getting, 90% of the people. If I asked you, and not trying to put you on the spot, do you think, I'm going to look at the Red Sox projected starting lineup. How many do you think you can name?
Is Devers still there?
Yes. They have him.
Xander got traded, correct?
Yeah. A year ago.
I think Devers.
I'm looking at this going, wow. Oh my gosh. I'm having a hard time with it. All right. Jaron Duran, who was one of their prospects, I remember, who was there last year, followed by this is their projected lineup: Devers, Trevor Story, Tristan Cassis, Yoshida, O'Neill, Abreu, Grissom, and Wong. It's not doing it for me. I just don't know. Like the Yankees lineup, I know I follow this team, but it feels like a lineup that, well, maybe it's because I follow the team. DJ LeMahieu, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, your guy, Alex Verdugo, Giancarlo Stanton, Anthony Volpe, and Jose Trevino. Man, that's the projected lineup for the Yankees, which should be good. I was looking at the A's. This is just scary. And we have fear that the Oakland A's are going to have a rough season, and we understand they've had rough seasons. This is the projected lineup for the Oakland A's. And we even carried their games. We've talked to their people. I recognize a few of these names. Ryan Noda, Zach Geloff, I believe. Brent Rooker, know that name. Seth Brown, no. Shea Langoliers, J.J. Bleday, Jordan Diaz, Nick Allen, Lawrence Butler.
Nate Littlefield, backup second baseman.
Starting rotation of Paul Blackburn, J.P. Sears, Ross Stripling, Alex Wood, Joe Boyle. Wow. And I still think baseball has as good of players as they've had in a long time. There's so much good young talent in baseball right now. It's not even young, good talent all the way through. Really a lot of good players. And I still think it's a great time to go to games. I still watch games, listen to games. It's sad to me that it hasn't turned out to be for everyone. And you can't make it be, but I feel like people watch the postseason, maybe some games intermittently, but the consistent draw is what's been tough for the majority of people. But it'll be here before you know it. Also, our last hour is here before you know it. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to close out the show as we always do with some crosstalk with Styles and Watkins. We got celebrity birthdays today. Let me check a quick perusal of our list. It's okay. It's an all right list today for this February 21st for those celebrating birthdays. But we nearly talked to her at 8. We are officially going to talk to her at 9. Our next guest will be joining us here, Katie Christensen, Kings television analyst. We're going to talk to Katie about what some of those things we played earlier. Mike Brown talking about improvement on defense, three-point line specifically, improving the free throw shooting. De'Aaron Fox and his shoulder injury, how much an issue is that? We'll preview the San Antonio game tomorrow and really the final 28, what she thinks needs to happen for the Sacramento Kings. We'll do all that and more as Katie Christensen joins us on the other side right here on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
In providing fast, guaranteed settlements to Camp Lejeune Marines, families, and civilians. Awards will range between $100,000 and $550,000, with an option for higher amounts. If you or a loved one spent time at Camp Lejeune and suffered cancers of the bladder, liver, or kidneys, leukemia, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, Parkinson's, or kidney issues, you may qualify for compensation and could be paid within 60 days after accepting your settlement, with your VA benefits fully protected. You may be entitled to a significant financial award for your Camp Lejeune claim, but you must act now. Call the James Harris Law Camp Lejeune helpline now to get the compensation you deserve. We're already fighting for thousands harmed by the water at Camp Lejeune. Call now or you may forever lose your right to be awarded a settlement between $100,000 and $550,000. For your free evaluation, call 800-270-3388. That's 800-270-3388. 800-270-3388.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can. In the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Every day, Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
God, I'm so stressed. It's a brand new year and our business is busier than ever.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 35 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Starts at $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Visit Ooma.com. That's OOMA.com to learn more. Ooma. Smart communications for the smarter business.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got good news. The American Energy Heat and Air $0 HVAC diagnostic has been extended to February 29th. That's right. It expired at the end of January, but want to give you all an opportunity who missed out to get in. It's a $99 value. All right, it's $100, and right now it's free. I don't know how much easier I can pitch that. Normally $100, now $0. Let the American Energy team test your system, your connections, and all the moving parts of that system to make sure it's functioning properly. And you know who's going to be coming to your home? A group of people that have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. a group of folks that have been making the greater Sacramento area proud since 1981. $0 HVAC diagnostic. Normally a $100 value right now at American Energy Heat and Air. Go to AmericanEnergyAir.com or call them to make your appointment. 916-520-9990.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show.
He's on the microphone when he's not on the microphone. He's playing a song, and when he's not playing a song, he's on the microphone, and then boom.
With Jason Ross.
No, he didn't. Yes, he did.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross on Sactown Sports.
You have to find ways to win. And that game should give us confidence that we can win playing a lot of different styles. It doesn't always have to be 130 to 120 or 115 to 122. We can win. We just showed versus a really good team on their home floor off a back-to-back that we can win a game 100 to 98. And our physicality in that game, in my opinion, is what stood out because we weren't shooting the three well. And we were doing some things that we weren't normally doing offensively that didn't help our case on that end of the floor. But for us to be able to defend, bring a level of physicality to the game, and try to limit our overall mistakes gave us a great chance to win the game, and our guys found a way. So, again, that game should give us belief that our style of play or us getting wins just doesn't have to do with what our identity is, which is quote unquote to play fast and score a lot of points. We get it done a couple different ways.
That was Mike Brown, head coach of your Sacramento Kings, yesterday at the Kings' first workout together, getting ready for the second portion of the schedule, the post-All-Star break edition, as that begins tomorrow night at Golden One Center against the San Antonio Spurs. All right, it is Wednesday. We now, each and every Wednesday, get a chance to talk with the TV analyst, our friend, your friend of the Sacramento Kings. That is Katie Christensen joining us here on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Katie, good morning. How are you?
I'm great, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing well. I know we had the near miss at 8. I'm glad we connected here at 9.
Yeah.
How was your break? Did you get away, do anything fun?
A little bit. It's kind of, I've always been like, especially because we traveled so much prior to the break, it's like coming back to travel is not as alluring as it might be sometimes. But yeah, I went up to Tahoe, took the kids sledding, and did Disney on Ice. It was a very mom-filled all-star break.
How was the snow good up there in Tahoe?
Oh, yeah. We went up to Sugar Rush.
Nice.
They have a great little place for sledding for the kids, and it was fun. It was nice.
Awesome. Well, I know everybody's looking forward now to this next group of games, this batch. And, do you think you were around the team? You saw them play. I thought I was really impressed with the last win. To get that one in Denver was impressive. But did you get a sense being around them that the break was coming at a good time for them?
Oh, my goodness. I think that everyone needed it. And, we always talk about the physical component of, if they've played 55 games, the All-Star break, there's this, kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's the midway point of the season. It's not. You're 2/3 of the way through the season. And you look at the schedule and the travel and just, how brutal this has been. And the Kings have had the third most, difficult schedule of any team in this league this year. And so I'm like, I felt like De'Aaron about a month ago was, looking a little bit worn down and tired, like the break couldn't get there fast enough. And, it's the mental component of it too, that I think they need a mental break from just the grind of the NBA schedule.
Yeah, and so now they get that. Now we'll see what they do. We played some sound yesterday, or earlier in the show, I should say, from yesterday's first workout. And Mike Brown basically addressed two things that I'd like to ask you about. That he said, doing kind of some self-evaluating now that they've played this many games. They know what they need to do, what they'd like to improve on. And the first thing he brought up on the defensive end was a specific one, but he brought up 3-point defense. When you watch this team, I think there's some reasons why they protect the paint a little bit more. But schematically, what can they do better, I guess, to improve on that 3-point defense?
It's interesting because they have not been a great 3-point defensive team, like by the numbers. You absolutely know that. But defensively, when it comes to protecting the paint, they are a much, much, much improved team this year. And so, it's like how the balance of how do you protect the paint at a high level, but also the 3-point line. Because the league has just changed so much with the 3-point shot. And if you can get downhill and if you can get in the paint and then you can get a team in rotation and kick it around the outside, you're going to get an open shot. So I think the question more is about, it's fundamentally like your closeouts. How are you closing out to 3-point shooters? Are you closing out to where you're, going by them? You're rushing out and you're kind of defending, and then they basically, dribble sidestep into an open 3-point look. Like, I think that's one of the things that Mike Brown wants to focus on is just the way that they close out and make sure that you're closing out hard, but also in a position to recover so that they're not getting that second look with the dribble sidestep 3. So, I'm curious, having a little bit of practice always is good, but you're going into this, this stretch of the season where, okay, you play San Antonio, then you go to LA, and then come back, play Miami the next night. Like, you just immediately go back into it. So I always think it's really hard when you're deep in the season to make massive changes, because I think those changes have to come with practice time, and there's just not a lot of practice time at this point in the season. So we'll see what schematically they're going to do to try and adjust that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would feel as glaring if they were shooting the 3 better themselves. They just haven't been nearly as consistent as they were a year ago. But I think that Denver game is a really great example of, how they were able to find a way to win despite the one thing that they rely on at a high level. It just wasn't going their way. And, he said it in that soundbite, there was a physicality to the game. And I think that is going to make the biggest difference for them defensively, is if they can bring a level of physicality on a more regular basis.
The one he brought up, Katie, on the offensive end was one we've seen, and it's an obvious one, I think, is free throws. And it's a little bit of a head scratcher in this sense that there are good free throw shooters on this team, and there are guys that are shooting below their norm. And I don't know if that's, as you as a former player, a million attempts. I don't know how many over your lifetime. The premise, your routine, you've shot millions of them. Why a guy like Sabonis is down a little bit, and Fox, and then Monk is in a little bit of a rut. I don't know the answer, but that's an area that has hurt this team in games this year. That area needs to get better.
It needs to get better. I mean, you can't win at a high level, and especially in clutch situations, you put yourself in a bad spot when you're not knocking down free throws. And to me, honestly, there's too many great shooters on this team for their percentage as a whole to be so bad. I haven't looked at it since, before the break, but I think it's like 28, 29, 30. It's pretty bad in terms of rankings in the league. And to me, the biggest thing, it's mental. It's mental. They had a couple games in a row where they really, really struggled, kind of a month or so ago. And I felt like it was an infection that went throughout the team. And so I personally think, yes, it's about getting to the free throw line in practice in those situations. And it's not about like, I'm going to make 100 free throws. You have to make them when you're running up and down. You have to add that into kind of your free throw repertoire, because it's different during the course of a game. You might go and make 80 out of 100 free throws and you're feeling pretty good about yourself when you're in shooting practice, but then you get in a game and you don't have your legs underneath you. Then you factor in the mental side of it. The game is on the line, that kind of stuff. And I think, to me, the glaring problem has been more of a mental one. And it's like, how do you get out of that? That is on each and every one of them individually to kind of adjust the mentality.
As we're talking with Kings TV analyst Katie Christensen here on our Folsom Lake Honda hotline. So those are a couple things Coach addressed. You watch every game, you call every game. Anything, I know there's always things to improve on, but anything else that kind of has your attention in the final 28 that you think needs to be tweaked and ramped up a little bit as they try to make the playoff push?
I mean, that's a good question. I think overall they're doing a good job in terms of offensively, but there's been more situations to me. I feel like when there's a little bit more stagnicity, if you will, is that a word?
We're making it one.
Yeah, in their offense. The thing that makes them great offensively is their willingness to move the ball, constant movement. It's so hard to defend. I don't care how good the team is defensively that you're going up against. But if you're moving the ball, you're switching it from side to side, you're getting those dribble handoff actions. Those are really, really hard to defend throughout the course of a 24-second shot clock. And so, I think that is something that they need to focus on at a higher level, because I felt like there was a drop off specifically the last month or so. But I've seen things like, that Phoenix game that they lost during that road trip, after the Milwaukee game when they were up big and they ended up losing, it's because Phoenix went to a small lineup. And then the next time they played Phoenix right before the break, they did an excellent job. So I feel like they've made adjustments and they've learned from things that have happened during the course of the season, things that they struggled with. So I'm really curious actually to see how they look against the Clippers, because the two teams, through the first 55 games of the season that they just consistently did not look good against was New Orleans and the Clippers. Mm-hmm. So obviously those teams ahead of them in the standings, you have to close out the season. You have to make those adjustments against teams that you just clearly don't match up well against. So those are the things that I'm hoping to see here in the next week or two as they're going through and getting back into, action coming out of the break, is have those adjustments been made? Have they learned from those previous losses, and how do they respond from that sense? But, I'm a big proponent, Jason. Defensively, I feel like this team is better this year. They're clearly better. They're not great. I'm not saying they're a top 10 defensive team, but if you can be around 15, 17, 18 in that area, that's a jump from last year. And that's going to matter. It's just the brutal thing to me is like the Western Conference is just absolutely, it's a gauntlet, and there is no easy night. You have to be able to come out and perform at a high level every single night. So you look at the standings right now, record wise, a little bit before the break. And again, like, I'm not back into full work mode yet, so I haven't crunched the numbers or done the things. That'll I'll save for tomorrow. I'm still trying to enjoy the last bit of my break. But record wise, they're right at around the same that they were a year ago, but they were in third place last year. So that just shows a couple things. The Western Conference continues to get better, but also it's more healthy this year. Not as many teams have struggled with massive injuries that I think impacted last year in a way, and the Kings were very healthy. So to me, it's like, how do you get yourself back in a situation where you're not in a play-in situation? Yeah. And that should be kind of the goal. You've got to get to about 6. And right now, Dallas is ahead of you. The Kings obviously have played well against Dallas, but New Orleans is, I think, in that 6th spot right now. That's a team that you have to come out and perform better against. So we'll see kind of how it all washes out here by the middle of April, the end of the regular season, to see if they're in a position where they have a good matchup, potentially first round, and if they've made the adjustments that Mike Brown was talking about yesterday at practice, that, a couple small adjustments can really make a difference.
You're talking about health too, and by and large, I think this team has had more injuries than last year. Nothing, extremely debilitating, but like a guy like Sasha, who's a role player, could help, is going to be out for weeks. But one that was brought up yesterday at practice was De'Aaron Fox, and Katie, I know you've heard it. Like, some people go, well, what's wrong with Fox? And then there's the night, like the Denver game, where he is the reason they won. The last 10 points of the game, he takes over. But he basically admitted that shoulder is a thing. But you know what, as an athlete, if you go out there, you get evaluated. And so De'Aaron can still show us he's capable of scoring 40 and dominating a game with an injured shoulder, but maybe some nights the shoulder or just the game, it impacts him and he's not as effective. How do you kind of as a former athlete and now an analyst, kind of understand that role of, look, he's playing, so he's going to get evaluated, but he also is probably not 100%. So, and one of the most important pieces to this team. So it's a really kind of difficult dance for De'Aaron right now.
It is, and you can tell, and for some time now, you've seen in games where he takes a hit and he's rubbing that shoulder, he's trying to stretch it out. It's obviously something that has been troubling him. One of the things I like about De'Aaron is you never hear about it.
Yeah,
he doesn't complain. It's not on the injury report. It's just this is just the normal wear and tear that players are going to go through the season. And when you look at the type of game he plays, it's such a physical style in terms of how teams are trying to defend him, especially when he gets in the paint, which he does, at a high level. And so those injuries are going to be there. It's not going to go away. He's not going to feel better until a couple months after the season, probably. So the difference is, though, it's the same thing. It's like when he's on the floor, even if he's not scoring, 25, 30, 40, which we know he has the potential to do on any given night, like his presence on the floor still really impacts how teams have to play defensively against the five out there. So that opens up things for other people. And I've really appreciated the fact that I feel like Domantas Sabonis has been so much more aggressive offensively when it comes to looking for his own stuff. So, if Domas is able to kind of pick up some of the slack, Kevin, like it has to be by committee. And then Harrison Barnes, to me, he's played really, really well over the last month or so. I mean, everyone has little dips or whatever, but he's playing so much more aggressively. And you look at it, he's like a 40% 3-point shooter. And it's like, how did you only take 4 shots total tonight? Like there was a stretch of the season for a decent stretch where that was going on. And I had a conversation with, kind of the offensive coordinator, Jay Triano. And I asked him, after that stretch where he was, really having put together some good games, I'm like, what's different? And he said, well, it's kind of our approach to it that was different. We look at the fact that on any given night in the starting five, probably the worst defender of the other team in their starting five is probably going to be on Harrison. So we have to take advantage of that because he's a very capable offensive scorer. So we need to be more cognizant of looking for him early to get him going, to, take advantage of those mismatches. And Harrison is a high IQ player, and he absolutely took that, ran with it, and has been, performing at a high level. So I think that it all comes back to De'Aaron and the expectations of him, right? It shouldn't be where he has to score 40 every night. It's great when he does, but that means that a couple other of the starters are not carrying their load.
Yeah.
So to me, for this team to be successful, they need to have a really, even scoring across specifically the starting five, where you want to see them in double figures every single night.
You talked about De'Aaron's expectations. What do you think about team expectations? And I think that's where it's kind of gotten into an area of maybe some frustration for the fans. And the way I've looked at it, Katie, I'm less concerned about their regular season record in the fact that, I just want them to be in that top 6 to avoid the play-in if they can, have their best possible setup. And to me, my expectations are at that next level. It's the playoffs. And are they building enough of these defensive improvements and these little crumbs that they're showing us that give them some staying power to have playoff success? I'd love them to be the 1 seed, but if they're 6 and they advance, to me, that is growth as opposed to, sure, they could be the 1 seed, but if they get out in the first round, that doesn't really impress me that much.
Yeah, to me, it's so much about kind of momentum at the right time of the season. Like you look back, Miami is a perfect example a year ago. You go play-in team to going deep, deep, deep in the playoffs. Like every team is capable of that. Just because, and the Lakers are a good example last year as well. In the Western Conference, they were a play-in team. They went deep. Like they absolutely struggled early in the season. And I mean, early in the season where it was like, what were they, like 2-12 or something? I'm trying to remember when they started last year, and it's like the sky is falling and all these things. And they made some adjustments at the trade deadline that really improved their team. And then they were a strong team in the Western Conference in the playoffs. And obviously they have experience and they have players that, you can't mess around with in a 7-game series. They're a problem. And so for me, I want to see that the Kings are peaking at the right time. I feel like they've made improvements defensively. The numbers indicate that they have. And the question is, okay, is everything coming together at the right time? I really think for this team to have success, they need to be more consistent from the 3-point line. That is, to me, a big glaring difference between last year and this year. And I feel like they're trending in the right direction. Kevin Huerter's shooting the ball much better. You look at Keegan. He is such a different player this year. So his 3-point numbers are down, but his overall numbers are up because he now is scoring at every level. He's not a one-dimensional player. And for a player to make that jump from year 1 to year 2 is super, super promising. And it's great. And when you look at the matchups against the Brandon Ingrams, the Paul Georges, those are the games where he has to make the next step as well, where he's able to score at every level and be productive on the defensive end as well. And to me, the challenges that they're putting on him on the defensive end this year has impacted his offensive game in terms of the numbers. So we know that he can go and have a 40-point game. We know that he can score at a high level, but I want to see him be able to score at a high level in a game where he has to defend at a high level as well.
Talking with Katie Christensen here on our Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Katie, I want to ask you about the Spurs tomorrow night. I know you're not fully into that mode yet, but you saw them already this year. And man, Victor Wembanyama, it was just 2 games ago, he had a triple-double with blocks. Yep. I mean, and I saw him on the set of the All-Star game, and he obviously was just towering over like Charles and Kenny. And then when he gets up to Shaq, he's just bigger than him at 7'4". I just don't know what he ultimately is going to become. But right now, watching him grow and develop is just, he's a phenomenon already.
He is, and he's a special player. He's going to be a player in this league that he's going to break all kinds of records. The numbers are going to be insane. He's going to continue to develop in terms of his body physically. He's not always going to be a complete beanpole. I don't ever think he's going to be a Shaq size. You know what I mean? But he obviously has such a great feel for the game. I think the biggest thing with the Spurs, from what I've watched, and I don't watch a ton of them when it's not getting close to when we're playing them, because, they're just a team that's not really, what's the right way to say this? They're not a team that you're like, okay, I've got to keep an eye on them because they're a potential playoff matchup, right? But from what I've seen of them this year, the team just his teammates don't necessarily know how to play with him the right way. So the stats and the numbers he's putting up is great, but they're going to figure it out because obviously they have a Hall of Fame coach. Like, he is one of the greatest coaches of all time. And he's done an excellent job, I feel, at developing and teaching. And I remember when they kind of started going into that rebuild mode, I think everyone was like, well, Pop isn't going to want to stick around and develop youth. Like, that's not his MO, right? And he's actually, I think, really dived into that mentality of he has an opportunity to really teach. And, it's a process with these young guys. And so you look at kind of how they play with Wembanyama right now, it's like, okay, like they kind of get it, but they're not even fully there yet. And when that all clicks and it locks in and they have the right pieces around them and all of that, this is going to be a really interesting team to watch over the next 5 years.
Yeah, Kings just got to make sure they get through this one based on what you said. The Clippers coming, the Heat after that. I know you guys have taken care of the bulk of the road portion of the schedule. A lot of games coming up at home, and if they really want to do that damage, they gotta own that home court coming up, and a lot of beam lightings. Let's hope.
Yeah, March is going to be really, really critical because it's all going to be about, obviously we talked about it earlier. Like, are you in that play-in situation or are you in the top 6? And yeah, the bulk of the travel schedule is kind of behind them, but coming out of the break, they still have quite a bit of travel before you hit the month of March. And, you've got to go to the Clippers. You come home for one. Then I think you go back to Denver, Minnesota. Like, there's some really, really tough games remaining on the road. And those are the big ones that I think are going to make a difference. But when you look at taking care of home court, March is going to be a really, really, really critical month, because you end the season, in April. I believe there's another kind of 3-game road trip kind of right at the end before you come back for one. So it's going to be, it's going to go a long way to be able to say, hey, like, home floor, we have to be better. We have to take advantage of it. We have to use this crowd, because this crowd is just by and far, like it gives such an advantage being in that building. And they're smart fans. You know what I mean? Like, they understand that their presence makes a difference. And so they contribute from the sense of, like, the sound, how loud it is in there. It really, it can be the final nail in the coffin for a team. So I think, you look at March, and it's going to be a really, really critical month.
Katie, we appreciate you joining us each and every Wednesday. We'll do it again next week. Have a good call tomorrow. We'll see you out at the arena tomorrow night.
All righty.
Thank you very much. That's Katie Christensen joining us. She got her break. Kings got their break. Now let's hope they can just vault into that final push here in the final 28 games. Really good analysis from Katie. If you miss anything of any of our interviews, Jim Less earlier in the show, like tomorrow we'll talk to Sam Amick. Anybody you ever, any portions of the show, you can always go back to Sactownsports.com. Show ends up on the podcast. You can look it up and watch it via YouTube as well. And go back and read comments that you like as well. All that's available. All you have to do is go to Sactownsports.com. What to watch going forward, and also more good news. Scott Pollard's ride, it just keeps going, and the news gets better and better for him. We've got that and more still. Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins and celebrity birthdays all ahead here on Sactown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
Going deep down the sideline for Are You? He's got it, and he's gone. 10, 5, touchdown! San Francisco! Ayuk is on fire!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Big savings are back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Looking to own or lease? We have options for everyone. Plus, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make for lower payments. It's no wonder Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not.
Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Country in the Park is back May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Jay Cohen, Walker Hayes, and more. Tickets start at just $46. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPFest.com. Brought to you by Coors Light, Garner Roofing, and Roseville Kitchen and Bath.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SactownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Styles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on Sactownsports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Your Wednesday forecast starts out with some patchy areas of fog. A soggy start as well with a few lingering showers, but for the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, highs today in the lower to mid 60s. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Doug Christie here. It's Folsom Lake Kia's President's Day sales event. Save on new 2024 Kias with low payments, low finance rates, and zero down deals on approval of credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia in the Folsom Auto Mall.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no accounts to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
It was 1879 when the first President's Day was established, and it's been a holiday ever since. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. I'm guessing when the Keys family opened the first Naturewood Home Furnishing store in 1948, a President's Day sale was not top of the mind. But the family probably celebrated the holiday with a picnic and a big slice of cherry pie. The store name Naturewood was selected to reflect the quality of the wood furniture for sale, and that focus on quality continues today with brands like Flex Steel, Trailway, Stickley, Fusion Designs, Stanton, and many, many more. The Naturewood Home Furnishings President's Day sale is the perfect time for you to find the right accent piece for your living room, a new bed for your bedroom, or to completely refurnish your entire home. See all the fine furniture and accessories on sale with Naturewood's President's Day sale. Find that perfect piece of furniture that's new today and filled with memories for tomorrow. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton's President's Day savings. Unleash luxury and precision in a new Acura Integra, RDX, MDX, or TLX. Quality meets affordability with savings on our best selection. Get to AcuraofStockton.com and start your experience today. Own the road in style. Visit us today or go to AcuraofStockton.com. Elevate your drive with Acura of Stockton, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Welcome to the President's Day sale, happening now at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda. Celebrate with us and get huge savings on our giant selection. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's Old Loan Report.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
waking you up with the best in local sports.
They just make it interesting, you know?
It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
On Sactown Sports.
Me? You? Me? Huh? Thanks again to Katie Christensen, Kings TV analyst, joining us here. Tomorrow on the show, spend some time with Kelly Brothers, talking sports business. Sports business. Yeah, sports business, 7:30 tomorrow. Sam Amick from The Athletic. He'll join us at 8 o'clock. We'll see if he can help solve the All-Star game. And we'll look ahead to the Kings and Spurs, as well as the push for the postseason for many, many teams. So that's all coming up tomorrow. Still to come here in just a few moments. We're going to check in with Styles and Watkins. A little crosstalk coming your way, and another round of celebrity cookies brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. Not
celebrity cookies.
So, did I say celebrity cookies?
Yeah.
Celebrity cookies brought to you by our friends at Crumble Birthdays. No, Crumble Cookies brought to you by Crumble Cookies. We'll do celebrity birthdays coming your way. All right. We mentioned yesterday about the good news about Scott Pollard, former King, finally receiving a heart transplant, which was needed and happened. And now the videos are like, Scott's thriving. I say thriving already, but he is up. He's moving. He's walking. I know his wife posted, I think today might be a move out of ICU into a regular floor at the hospital. I think the joke was, which their family is definitely a good sense of humor, because the videos of you see Scott walking around carrying the dragging and pulling the medical pole that has all the wires and everything that he's connected to, and all the things that are checking, from something as basic as heart rate to, giving him oxygen, blood levels, all that stuff. And he's walking around, and I think she said, well, hopefully when he moves to the next floor, they'll give him a longer gown. Yeah, those hospital gowns, especially for someone, what's Scott, 6'11", 7 feet tall, be a little short and revealing, but obviously everything's good there, and I'm glad to hear that story. It's an incredible story for him, and many people like Scott Pollard have to go through this on a regular basis, and some aren't as fortunate as Scott. Maybe they never get the transplant in time, or things don't take as well. There's a lot of risk to it, but so far so good, and I love hearing that story, and good news on that front. We mentioned tomorrow the San Antonio Spurs are here, and tomorrow we'll spend more time specifically on that game. We'll have a 3 in the key and some predictions on that, but I'm anxious for San Antonio coming in. I mean, Victor Wembanyama is going to be something that is unique, is different, something we haven't seen. Literally at 7'4", and I think still growing scarily enough, but he has been doing some amazing things. And I think people that came in right away with so much hype, so much expectations, like those summer league games that were televised that everybody went to go watch in person. And he's had a really good rookie year, but some people are like, yeah, he's not living up to the hype. Not living up to the hype. Now, they're not winning, but he's been absolutely incredible. And he's going to get better. He's still very young in his career, and it's been fun to watch. And so much so that there is some hype around him. There will be more hype as he gets better and better, and the Spurs improve. And we on our very own station on the weekends, and we have Imran Palati in here every other week or so, talking about cards and where the industry is and collectibles and things like that. But people are trying to collect Victor Wembanyama merchandise in cards and rare cards. So I believe it was Prism that put out a rare, and I don't know all the details of this, but it's a 1-of-1 Victor Wembanyama, and some were suggesting the retail value, just if you were able to get this card, just the first look at it without it being graded or anything, at around $100,000. Well, there are things called breakers where people open up cards, and it's on camera basically, and so you got followers and people can see what you're doing. So, Chris, you have this audio here. This is what it sounded like. I don't even remember where this came from. Where was it? Was this in China?
Beijing.
Beijing. All right. Here was the reaction to opening this pack of cards and the reveal that it ended up being the Victor Wembanyama 1-of-1. There's the leader. They think. Maybe. It's a rookie. They got the Victor Wembanyama.
It's funny. The first thing that they get excited for is a Jason Williams card.
Yeah, Jay Will in the front, but they're also, that's the way a lot of people open. Like they know the last card that they're kind of covering is the special insert, and then they're just trying to reveal whether or not, you know, they see I think it's a black prism. There's, you know, I don't even know all the proper terms, but as they're revealing, you could see that it's a rookie. And so they're just like, oh my gosh, is this a Spur? It's a Spur. And then it's Victor Wembanyama. I think I saw a follow-up to that they've already put it out there now at $500,000. So it's like kind of when it's out there in the world, revealed at about $100,000 value. Now that card might be worth $500,000. Chris, if you got that card and someone was willing to pay you, first off, $100,000, but let alone $500,000, you're selling that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No hesitation.
I don't think I own anything that I would want to keep for.
Yeah, I'd be nervous. One, I'd be nervous about it. Two, that's one of those things like if you got it, you want to tell people, but also do you want to tell people? Because it's like, is that safe? Where do I put it? I probably want to get it off my hands, but also, okay, so let's play that game. You would probably sell it, which I wouldn't even say is wrong. Would you have any regrets if at some point, 15 years down the line, Wembanyama's having a career? I wouldn't even give him a LeBron or Jordan career, but he's having a Jokic career, whatever, a great career, and that card's worth a lot more.
No.
You still made money.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's one like, hey, if I had hung on to my house for 15 more years, yeah, sure. But did you make money on it? Good for you. But good for them. That's the fever that's out there for Victor Wembanyama, at least in this group of rookies from the NBA. When we come back, Celebrity Birthdays brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies and Crosstalk with Styles and Watkins as we wrap up the Wednesday show, the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross here on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Are you ready for the deal of a lifetime? This week only during the President's Week sale, get ready to rev up your savings at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. The doors swing wide open every day at 9 a.m., and we're unleashing the biggest selection of pre-owned and brand new vehicles you've ever seen. With so many options to choose from, you're sure to find the car of your dreams. But hold on to your seats, because here's the best part. Our prices are slashed to the bone, and they're so incredible that we can't broadcast them. You have to come down and see for yourself. Don't wait. This is a 1 week only event. And to make it even better, you can drive away with your dream car right on the spot. No waiting, no hassle. Just instant delivery right on site. Remember, the President's Week sale happens this week only at Elk Grove Kia and elkgrovekia.com. Doors open at 9 a.m. sharp. Elk Grove Kia, where the biggest savings and the hottest wheels await during the President's Week sale, only at Elk Grove Kia.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and me the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Jiffy Lube, your place for oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. Hey, for valuable coupons and a location near you, visit jiffylube.com. Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton and Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real live person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than freshly baked and home-delivered crumble cookies.
It's time for the news of the day.
The latest headlines, the biggest stories, hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, this is none of those things. And now, here's Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross.
Wow. The things you learned about Nate Littlefield. Yeah!
Woo! Woo! Wednesday.
Yes. We've done that before where we've asked people what you think you're good at, like outside of maybe the norm. Like, you know, and Nate basically says he thinks he's elite at prank calling.
Elite prank caller.
Yeah.
Come on.
Is there something you guys think you're elite at? Like above the average, above the norm, then like, and it could be something completely odd.
You know what? There's something for me that I think has been funny because I don't actually think it's unique, because once they get to me, they've already blown up. But I've been that guy that feels like I got an ear for talent after they're already on the radio or whatever.
So you're late, but you think
right,
you're
Destiny's Child. I'm looking at Beyonce. You know what? She's going
There's
places.
something there.
So in my mind, I guess I thought I had an ear.
But she wasn't quite Beyonce yet.
That's right. That's right. And prior to Apple Music and Spotify, all the streaming, what Chris knows, the hot new hip hop and all this.
Gap Piff.
And I was the guy that felt like, oh, when I put in my auxiliary cord, you guys don't know this dude, but he's about to blow up. And I'd be right. I don't know. I had a pretty good batting average.
Success rate?
Yeah, probably about. I probably hit about 400.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and I'm talking, you know, they
What's
had
your
a little
biggest miss?
cup of tea. My biggest miss, well, the point is you never would have heard of him. Chris, and you probably remember this guy.
I feel like I know where you're going.
I thought Kid Ink was going to be that guy.
Wow.
I thought Kid Ink, he was this.
Is it too late?
Yeah, he missed his run. He was in LA. In LA,
Like a
super
discount
tatted
Tyga.
up.
Yeah.
Discount Tyga, kind of looked like Tyga. And I was playing that for all my buddies at baseball, thinking,
this is it.
This is the guy.
Get
this
to know
is the guy.
this.
And they didn't.
See, don't tell him.
That whole
that
DJ
whole
Mustard era.
Okay.
And so that was my biggest miss.
Anything for you, Chris? It's like a hidden, I don't know if it's hidden talent or something you think you're better at than most.
I think you've asked me this question before a while ago, and I'm going to regret saying it because I had to learn the hard way last time, but I feel like I'm really good at when things drop from the shelf, I always catch it. Like I have like a 95%
like
catch
this
rate.
instinct. You may not even see it.
Spidey sense
Yeah.
in a way for sure. Like if things drop, like I'm always sticking my foot out to make sure it doesn't crack.
And you save it.
I save like 90. I'm gonna raise it again. 98% of things.
That's gonna come in handy.
The problem is this is literally what happened last time. Is Verlag did the same
And you
exact
caught it.
thing because I knew it was happening through something.
Doesn't
happening
count
last
then.
time.
Doesn't count.
Oh, you were aware.
I caught it.
Spidey sense is
That's
pretty
gonna
good.
that's gonna keep in handy.
Yeah.
When you have
I
kids,
obviously have to. Oh, yeah.
it will.
Yeah.
It will.
They drop a lot.
And has Nate tried this prank call on the show yet? Or I mean, if he
No.
says he's elite at it.
No.
I'm very scared for letting Nate prank call somebody on there.
Yeah.
Maybe it should.
I feel like that.
Yeah,
But
I'd like to know what his prank calls are like.
Well, he told us one. That
it was a pretty good one.
It
The
was
one he
pretty
said
good.
was pretty
It was
good.
a lot of work to that.
It's funny you bring that up because I literally had a dream a couple nights ago about some type of, because you listen to other radio stations and they do love traps and things like that. And I was wondering, is that too far off our brand? But now we're going to workshop this thing and bring
Try
it
to
back.
create
Hey,
something.
Jason said it. He's a legend. You know what I mean? We got to do it now.
This is you said dreams. This is how the show started with Chris and I. Do you guys, either of you, have sports dreams still?
In my sleep?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like when you're dreaming, like about from when you played, or just
yeah,
at anything.
Yeah.
You still do? Yeah.
Not really.
They're bad. They're bad.
Okay. Why?
Because I never hit a home run at Temple, and my dream is always hitting the fence.
Oh my!
Because
in my dream you still hit the fence.
Terrible.
And that's literally what happened in real life. And I just keep thinking they actually in college, I think a year or two after I graduated,
It's gone. No, it's not.
They changed the balls, right?
Yeah.
And in the College World Series, the home of college baseball.
Otherwise, you'd have a few bombs.
And I had at least 7 doubles off the fence.
Yeah.
And it's just a reoccurring dream for me.
I just imagine like Alan saying like, one day I'm going to hit a home run, and then someone's like, in your dreams, pal, and he's like,
not even,
man, not even.
I was saying like the recurring ones, almost like when you had like if people had the ones that they stress about, like late for work or I'm not prepared for this test, and it's like whatever. I have the one in baseball where I might hit it a mile, forget the defense, but I can't
run.
I can't get to first.
Yeah.
It's like I'm just.
Are you injured?
Like, no, I don't know. Or I'm just like incredibly slow, or the base is moving, and it's like, oh, this is a home run, and then it's like, oh wait, the outfielder's got it. I'm not gonna make it, and it's just like that's. I don't know what the. There's got to be a reason behind that. I don't know what it is.
There is like a psychology behind dreams, where it's like if you're dreaming a specific thing or anything like that, like they can try and pull.
Yeah.
I mean, really trauma out of your dreams.
But that one comes back. I'm not saying it happens. Maybe it's happened maybe 10 times in my life, but it's more than once. It's like, what is it about? Like, I can't get there. I'm not. I'm in quicksand or something.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. They get bad for me.
Yeah.
Beginning of
and you
the college baseball season, yes, and then during MLB playoffs, that's when when I avoid
that's
sleep.
When you're peaking.
Yes, that's when I avoid sleep. Shout out Sac State, got hit. The guy got hit 8 times.
Is that crazy?
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken,
doesn't really crowd the dish either.
That's what. I wasn't sure.
I asked some people over there, like, no, not really.
It's just like in Step Brothers, he's like, you just got a really punchable face. Something about it's just like, I don't know, something about you. I just really want to
Loyola Marymount's hitting them.
Yeah.
I think 9 or 10 times overall the whole team.
Right. I think I read that the ump called him back one of the times.
He did. He was taken away.
Yeah.
My God. That's the thing. I think that I was telling the guy I know over at Sac State, the first baseball game I played in high school ever, I got hit 3 times in the same game. And I'm thinking, that's the only, I wasn't, that's it.
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't a trend. It just was a weird day.
Huh.
But 8 is ridiculous.
8 is ridiculous.
8's crazy.
Yeah, I don't. I
that's
never
personal.
liked getting hit.
That's
yeah.
really personal.
Is enough.
8 is enough. What's coming up on the show today?
Yeah, we are breaking down. We're tying a bow on the first half of the King season, surprises and letdowns, things like that. We have Larry Krueger at 11 because he said some very interesting things about Kyle Juszczyk, who people are very protective over, and what the Niners are going to do there. And then we're looking forward to the Kings and the last third of the season. De'Aaron Fox, finally, we've been taking texts and calls for months, and the Sac Chat or the Sac Mob, however you identify, about De'Aaron Fox and his shoulder. And yesterday he finally brought it up. So that is how we are basically leading the show.
Yeah, it's even a weird clip. We played it. It was like, no, I didn't really have it scoped or looked at, or I don't even know.
I just know it's not torn.
No, you should know if you had it looked at, right?
It's not going to be right. It's not going to be. It's not going to be better in 5 days. But I know it's not a labor.
Right.
Okay.
Something's up, but that's fine. He's playing, and then he dropped. What was he? Great against the Nuggets the last game.
Right.
Break won the game basically with the last 10 points. Today is National. What is this? Grain-free day. National Sticky Bun Day.
I'm into sticky.
So what's the sticky bun in cinnamon roll? What's really the
difference, right?
There is a difference. I don't think sticky bun have icing on it.
Is
really
like nuts?
Yeah, most sticky buns will have nuts and cinnamon rolls.
I don't think I've had a sticky bun.
They're boy buns.
We've been doing closeouts and shout outs on Fridays, and I know it's only Wednesday, but I got to give a shout out to my little sister. She fired up some cinnamon rolls, and they arrived. It was
really tough to make cinnamon rolls.
Oh,
like,
these
were
crazy.
You want some cinnamon rolls in Sacramento? Spinners.
Spinners?
Yeah, it's in like a gas station. So you're like, oh, I think I'm in the wrong spot. No, they're like the best.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay.
And by the way, I've been doing my Alan Asks on Twitter, and the one I've gotten responses on all of them. The one I did not get one response on, actually, it was pretty funny. The one response I got was Cheesecake Factory, and I don't know if this person thought that I was saying something else, because I said, where's the best place to get a cheesesteak in Sacramento? And nobody responded.
Yeah. I didn't have an answer. I honestly would have said, like,
Chris didn't have an answer.
Jokingly
Nate
said Jersey Mike.
Nate didn't have an answer.
First thing that came up to my mind.
That's what Sac doesn't have.
Yeah, I really don't think
there's a spot on how. I think it's more of like a chain type of spot.
You're not giving me confidence, Chris. If that's the one thing
I never had it. It's one of those things like you drive by and it's like
I was
these days.
Yeah.
If that's the one thing that Sac is missing, I'm good. I can get it.
Yeah, you were craving it or just
I have cravings.
Okay.
And dreams.
Yeah, and dreams. To get celebrity birthdays correct. Not a perfect number every day. Let's see who we got brought to you by our friends at Crumble Cookies. As birthdays are meant to be spent with family and friends, and nothing brings family and friends together better than Crumble Cookies. All right, it's February 21st, and we say happy birthday to Jennifer
Hudson.
Lawrence.
Hewitt.
Yes, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Ah.
I forgot the love. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Is how old today?
Yeah, that's. We'll go.
I'm gonna,
go ahead.
I'm gonna guess 45.
Oh, that's.
I was gonna go higher.
Yeah.
I'll say 49.
I'm gonna stick to my guns and say 50.
50. All right. Well, guys, we have the correct answer, and it belongs to Christopher Lott. 45.
You guys are disgusting.
You thought it was
absolutely disgusting.
Happy birthday to Jordan.
Cool.
Hicks.
Peel.
Michael.
Jordan Peele.
That's a tough one.
Man. Oof.
He's got another movie coming up.
Does it? Oh,
but
yeah,
it's not a scary one.
I like this.
Yeah. Jordan Peele.
I'm gonna guess 42.
I was going up again. I don't know what it is today. 47.
42. What'd you
43.
47. We have a tie. 45. Tie between you two.
Interesting.
Okay. Happy birthday. Let's see where we're gonna go. Steve
Harvey.
Kirkle.
Palmer.
Stevie Franchise. Steve Francis.
I love Stevie Franchise.
Kind of fizzled at the end.
Killed the Kings in a
It was that trade with him and Tracy McGrady. That's when he disappeared. 40 is I see 45 too. 45 again.
That sounds right. Stevie Franchise 48.
I was gonna say 48. I'll say 47.
We have a correct answer. Christopher Lott, 47. Happy birthday to former King Dante Green.
Oh my gosh. What a throwback. I really wanted Dante Green to work out. I know. We'll say Dante's 39.
35.
38.
Christopher Lott for the win, 36. And the last one we'll give you is happy birthday to Kelsey Grammer. Frazier.
Wasn't he at
He's at a
Arco?
Kings game randomly.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
He was a
Vivek
courtside
brought-
next to Vivek one time.
It was like one of the
random.
first celebrities he brought out.
Yeah.
Like after he bought the
He's
movie.
73.
I did not know who Kelsey Grammer was before
74.
that day. I'll say 77.
Christmas was a 69.
By the way, the reason I was looking at my phone is because you said Dante Green, and I just did Locked On Kings, and I was reading the comments, and someone said, I clicked so fast when I saw the thumbnail because I thought it was Dante Green.
Oh, yeah.
Do I look like Dante Green? Maybe a quick glance.
Yeah, I mean, if I can see it.
Add it to the list. Add it to the list.
Who else is on the list?
Donald Glover.
There you go. And Denzel. Gotta go.
Okay. No time
Denzel
for
Washington
comment.
coming up next,
Yes.
and Chris, the cat who can catch everything. Those guys are coming up next here on Sactown.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Keegan, going for another triple.